We're just saying that hydration in and of itself is good, and you've seen some amazing results with NAD. What have you seen?
I have. So the thing with NAD is it reduces inflammation in the body. So, and it usually targets where it needs to be. So with people with any kind of chest congestion or nasal congestion, it opens up those passages, and we're seeing people be able to take deeper breaths. If they have a chronic cough, like bronchial cough, then we're seeing that like diminish.
Good. Excellent.
So it's really been helping.
Are there a lot of COVID cases still out there, people sick?
Yeah, we've seen a really big spike in the last few weeks. So.
And then also you do just regular wellness, people at home, shut-ins, or just anybody, migraines. I mean, how many, do you have a lot of people that do like I do, was just once a month or once every couple of weeks or whatever?
Yeah, once a month is probably our most popular time frame, but I have clients that do it weekly. So
really? They do it weekly.
Yeah.
They probably just hate drinking water. I hate drinking water. I hate it. I hate it. I love the idea of it. You know, I wish I could tell you, yes, hydrate. I don't drink water a lot. Mark's always drinking water, always. Suzanne's always drinking water. Do you like water, Talib? I don't like water. I just don't like it. Even with...
Actually, I've drank more water since I've been down here with you guys.
Do you like it?
Normally do.
I don't enjoy water. It's
got to be cold.
You know, yeah. Anyway, Andrea, how long does a normal session take? Somebody wanted to know by email.
Yeah, so we schedule for about an hour, and that's typical. By the time we discuss your options with you, what IV you want, get the IV started, and then run it through, and then check on you afterwards, it's usually right at an hour.
So if I text right now this number, who does it go to?
It goes to our dispatch center.
And how do they know who to send it to?
So they send it out in an app, and we get it on our phones.
Like an Uber driver or
like
whatever.
Like an Uber driver, yeah. And so we post a map, and who's ever closest will respond to that patient, so we can get there quickly.
Can people usually get a same couple of hours in there? Can they get in somebody there in a couple hours?
Yeah, we try to get somebody out to them within an hour.
Wow. Okay, and that number, by the way, for texting or calling, 720-987-2155. All right, 303-713-TALK. Suze, I want to start texting the show. I want people to be able to text. So how do we do that? What do we do? Can we use a Google number or what? How do we do
Well,
this?
I have one that I use for lining people up on the show. We can create one for help. It might just be too much to send them to mine, Tom. I'd get lost in what I've got going on.
But I want to try to set it up. See if Google will let us do that Google number. I have a Google number of my own, too. And I'd love to set up a text. I think it would be great for the show, too. A lot of people might want to text, not call. Hey, Linda, what's going on with you? By the way, speaking of that, we have some open lines right now at 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Linda, you have a dental implant?
Yes.
What's going on with it?
Probably about 2017, I got a dental implant.
Yeah.
And so I go back to my regular family dentist to get a crown. And he was acting kind of like he couldn't get the crown on. Well, he could never get the crown on.
Wait a minute. This was back in 2017, or this was recently?
Yeah. No, this was 2017.
Okay.
I think, around there.
Okay.
And he kind of said something about the position and the stuff. And he said, so he got a crown on. He got two crowns on, and they both broke. And
now let me get this. If you're talking about a true implant, the implant for those listening, you probably know, the implant is actually that screw that goes into the bone, and then that's the implant, and then the restoration, I guess, is what you're calling the crown, because most of it is the crown, but it's the side of the tooth as well, and that's the restoration. And a lot of people, what I always found amazing is that a lot of people who do the implants don't actually do the restoration. They send you back to another dentist for that. But anyway, so you had somebody do the implant, and the implant itself was fine, but your other doctor had a problem with the restoration. What happened?
Well, we thought the implant was fine.
Oh.
He couldn't get the crown on. He put one on and it broke. Then free of charge he put the second one on and it broke. And he said something about the position of the implant. So he said, you're going to have braces to widen that space where the implant is. And I thought, that's great.
What did they put the implant? Did they put the implant at an angle or something?
I guess so.
Okay.
So I had to have orthodontic braces.
That's weird. That is, they can't just redo the implant or what?
Huh?
They can't redo the implant?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
That would be a big deal.
Okay.
That's got a bone graft in it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Is it a top or bottom tooth?
Bottom.
So what happened? What are we calling about now?
I had to have braces that to the tune of $6,000, and I did not have insurance.
Oh, my God, just because the implant was crooked and you had to make it straight?
Yes. So I had the braces on, and it widened that space, and he got on the crown just perfectly because the space was widened by the braces. But then, listen to this, the doctor that did the implant, the DEA went in and shut down his office. He was dealing drugs.
The guy that did the implant?
Yes.
Really?
So anyway, so I thought, this is just great. So anyway, about a year ago, he was sentenced to jail for 8 years.
Oh, my God. This guy, he had a regular thing going on, huh?
Yeah, he wasn't just using drugs. He was dealing them. So anyway, I went to a malpractice attorney about, maybe the beginning of the year, because I thought, what can I do about this? $6,000. And they wouldn't even talk to me since the statute of limitation was 3 years.
All right, so bottom line, let me get this straight. This guy was dealing drugs, but does that mean he was doing bad implants? And I'm not trying to make funny here. You're thinking this guy was a bad dentist all the way around?
Yeah.
All right, so hold on. Let's come back to this. I don't want to go too far over. 303-713. Get your calls in.
This Denver's station with Tom. Don't say too much with calls like that.
Oh man, this thing is making me start all over again. Did it time out on me? I didn't get it finished.
You should be able to log back in and should take you right back.
What is it?
It's like the like medical history and
For hall pass for QC.
Oh, I got
it. Consent form. As you make your way past the I-270 interchange, traffic starting around.
Dachshund, when I was talking about that dog, I got the spelling so bad, I can't even get spell check to pick it up. Dachshund. I don't know how to spell. I'm trying to come close, so spell check will pick it up. And I did D-A-U-C-H-H, D-A-O, hound, dachshund, D-A-U-C-H-O-U-N-D, but it's not.
Save up to $500 during the best Labor Day sale ever on top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's. Plus, get a free adjustable base.
D-A-C-H-S-H-U-N-D.
I often talk about Frank Duran, the realestateman.com, and what a great real estate person he is for buying and selling real estate, and then the free market valuations of your home to decide if you're ready to sell or what it'll bring in an open sale in this crazy market. I want to talk about the buying side because we don't often talk about that. If you want to buy as a buying team, they know how to get some stuff that just went off the market maybe or just coming on the market. They really know how to make deals. If you're looking to buy, get Frank Duran, the real estate man, on your side to get a deal That's Frank Duran, the realestateman.com, 303-920-1622. Now, floor coverings are a big deal right now. A lot of people, as I said, moving, a lot of people selling, a lot of people buying. Floor coverings are one of the number one things people do to spruce up their home, and you can't do better than simplyfloorsinc.com. Not because they have unique flooring. Everyone nowadays has the same flooring, so what you're really shopping is the experience and the price and the installers. That's where they shine. Simply Floors Inc. Probably 20, 30, 40% below most everyone else and the better installers and better people. Simply Floors Inc. That's INC. Simplyfloorsinc.com. Make your own appointment.
If you're within 5 years of retirement, you can't afford to miss Allworth Financial's Retirement Planning Workshop. Featuring
a 7-step process that's helped thousands plan well and avoid
Did it open it back up for you?
retirement. Join us in 3 years. September 18th to the 25th. There's no cost, but space is
okay, so
7 personal decision points retirement planning workshop at 866-807-4250 or visit allwardfinancial.com/workshop.
You're feeling better? You're pain better?
I'm not noticing, so it could be that. And right about now, I'd be fussing a little bit. By 11:30, yeah. I don't know when I get up and walk out of here.
Okay.
When I get up to walk out of here, if I don't,
Yeah.
I'm weird. It's almost like that. And I'll be on the last one.
I'm gonna go see Stephanie after this. I ratted you out and said Tom's getting his IV today. You want me to stop by?
Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this new NAD thing is a cream for the inside thigh, and I'm part of a real clinical trial. It's a real one. So they want to measure my levels to see how the absorption is and how good it is.
Of NAD?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So Dr. Terry's doing the part of it. Doc,
Yeah.
he's doing a clinical trial because they're going for. Well, they're not going for they're going for FDA as far as efficacy, as far as generally proved as safe and all that, not to see that it cures anything or anything.
Right.
But he just wants to see if doing the cream maintains a level in your body and how often you need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm on the once a week team. I'm not. I didn't start it yet because he wanted to do. They had to do blood work, and I still had some in my system.
Where do you put the cream?
Inside thigh.
Really, that's an interesting area.
Or maybe he just wanted to demonstrate that.
Maybe just no combat shit.
Get it close to the important part.
Was it?
Got to get it close to the important part.
Right.
And the Colorado Dental Implant Center. You don't need to miss those things anymore because Aspenwood Dental can make them.
That's interesting. You'll have to let me know what the absorption is. It should be better than orally for sure, but
yeah,
because it will soak into your bloodstream.
Well, yeah. And what else did I? Oh, they're trying to make it available to people rather than intravenous, because intravenous is the best way. And they're not trying to. It's just that they say it's not practical for people sometimes to just get a shot all the time.
Well, intravenous would be the best route for any medication.
Or intramuscular is good for the NAD, they said too.
Right.
That's what they're thinking the cream might
be. Actually, if you gave everything intravenously,
I know,
it would work 100%. I mean, it would deliver.
At 1% after that. Apply. Learn more at AmericanExpress.com/bluebusinesscash. Don't do this yourself.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. Harris Family Law is a law firm for family law, of course, for divorce and mediation and child custody issues, support, and all those things. Here's what I love about Harris Family Law. They do collaborative law, and you need to learn more about it. But they get the other side to agree to this as well, and they do a collaborative law, meaning they will not do anything, file anything in court, and try to settle each and every matter outside of court to save money. They also have, of course, unbundled services if you wanted just a certain part of your divorce handled and you wanted to take care of the rest, or whatever you want. Harris Family Law is there to serve you. They're good people. 303-515-5000. 303-515-5000. HarrisFamilyLaw.com. Now, Linda had a dental implant. She said that it was put in wrong, and so the restoration, the tooth on top, it did not fit before she had some orthodontics done, and then it fit. And I'm not sure where we're going with the story. So anyway, you spent some money on the orthodontics, or you racked up a bill, and this dentist that did the implant originally has gone to jail for drug dealing. So what is going on now? What can we do for you, or what is your question?
My question is the beginning of this year, I went to a lawyer about what I could do, and they wouldn't even talk to me since the statute of limitations had expired. I thought it was 7 years, but they said it was 3 years.
It's 3 years, yeah. Of course it is for that, for malpractice. But
yeah, well, I didn't know that.
It's from the point of discovery, or when you should have discovered it. You knew it right in the beginning you had a problem. But I'm going to tell you a secret, okay? He used the statute of limitations as an excuse. No one's going to take this case, Linda.
Really?
Yeah, and well, I'll tell you why. Malpractice has become such a mess that to hire experts and to gather enough information and enough data to get to court is $100,000. Now, a law firm puts a lot of time and energy in this, and they don't want to, and they don't want, and their money, and they don't want to get just the $100,000 out to break even. They want $100,000 on top of that. They hope. Now, in order to get $100,000 minimum on top of the $100,000 it costs to get in there, think about this now. That's about, an award of $400,000 or $500,000 or $600,000. Now, is your problem going to bring $500,000 or $600,000? Most likely not. Most malpractices, they won't touch for under an award of $500,000 or $600,000 because of the complexity. The other thing is you were maybe thinking about going after his insurance. And his insurance...
that's one thing.
Yeah, but it is too late. You have a problem. But what kind of... When you did the orthodontics, what did it cost you?
$6,000.
All right. So what is your loss? $6,000 there?
Yeah, well, what about small claims court?
Yeah, that's an option, but your statute of limitations is up still.
Whoa. She's still got to find a witness to come in. They still have to have another doctor or dentist testify.
You have to have something,
you can't. I'm not even sure you can go after a professional like that in small claims. I'm not sure, man.
Right. Here's the thing. You still have the statute of limitations to worry about. It's too long ago.
Even for small claims court?
By the way, you said it was, small claims court has a small claims court is real court. It has the same statute of limitations for breach of contract, for everything.
Okay.
So, what are you trying to get back? Your orthodontic work?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that during the time you were having it done? Why didn't you go back to him then?
I don't know. I guess I figured I had 7 years. I don't know.
But, okay. I mean, you don't... And even if you did have more time, going after something is always beneficial sooner than later.
Yeah.
And is your mouth all settled down now? Is everything working?
Yep.
Okay. Well, you know what? I've never heard of an implant being so crooked that you had to move your entire mouth to get the restoration in there. You would have thought they could have made a restoration a little different, a little smaller or something to fit on there. But who knows? I'm not a dentist. Anyway, 303-713-TALK. 713-8255 is our number if you want to get through. As I mentioned earlier in the show, there is a big deal going on right now. General Motors is shutting down. Other manufacturers are thinking about shutting down because of the lack of microprocessors they need for the new car. This is also having a big impact on the appliance business. If you can find things that you need in stock and they're not outrageously priced, you ought to think about getting them right now. Because it's not going to get better. Well, it will get better eventually, we hope. But right now, the world is still going through a pandemic. I mean, we have a little lull, of course, but A lot of people are still getting sick. I'm not trying to spread, like fear and terror at all. I'm just the opposite. But we're still dealing with it. And the shortage of microprocessors goes far beyond cars. That's the first place you're actually finding it. And this is mostly because of overseas, all of the factories that were doing that then. Now, we have more coming up. Bill wants to talk about teachers. Mark, what did you
real quick on that, small claims. Yes, you can take a doctor or a professional to small claims court, but you have the exact same standard. You're going to have expert testimony from a doctor or an attorney if you're going after an attorney or whatever to basically prove the standard of care was bad.
Yeah. And
it's going to cost you a fortune.
In order to even sue, a doctor has to say, yes, I feel this was malpractice. And that's difficult in and of itself. That's the first hurdle. That's only the first hurdle.
Think of how much that would cost. How much to get a doctor in there? How much do you think?
Oh, my God, thousands. Because, first of all, the doctor has to review the whole case.
And you can't recoup that cost. The maximum you can get back in Colorado is $7,500.
More coming right up.
I wonder if that's ever been done. Maybe you have a neighbor that's a doctor or a dentist.
I can tell you that you get between $300 and $500 an hour for reviewing a chart.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're insured by a certain company and that doctor's insured by the same company and you're saying he committed malpractice, your insurance company's going to be pissed at you.
Well, right? Exactly. So if it's $300 to $500, let's say, to look at it,
right?
You still got to examine the patient.
An hour. That's $300 to $500 an hour.
It depends on you. If you do a medical review,
how long does it take, though? Is what I'm saying.
To do a medical review?
Yeah. How many hours?
Let's say 3 or 4 hours. That's $2,000.
Then what?
Then you render your opinion.
Okay.
And then you wait and see whether you have to go to court to testify, which is probably $800 an hour.
Oh yeah, more than that sometime.
Well, not to mention, I mean, to actually prove that what they did was malpractice is still the hardest part.
Right.
A lot of shit goes wrong.
After mine, you have master.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, let's face it.
During the best Labor Day sale ever on top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 or more.
You know, there is one thing where you don't have a supply chain shortage, and that's money. Loans are plentiful. And that's why you need to take time to think about loans if you're going to refi. Get the right kind of loan. Affordable interest mortgage has a variety. Of course, the conventional, the FHA, the VA, and they have low money down programs for first-time buyers. They also have jumbo loans. But what about the liquid loan? What is it? He calls it, the owner there, he calls it, Kurt Rogers calls it the asset manager, because it manages your biggest asset, which is your home. Here's what it is. It's a line of credit. That's what it is. So let's say you owe $100,000. It pays off the $100,000. Now you have a line of credit with $100,000 on it. You can pay that $100,000 down all the way if you want, or partially, and then take the money back out again. Now, let's say you have more equity available for another $100,000 you can borrow. You can take it out and pay it back. It's liquid. The entire amount is liquid for 30 years. Now, here's the only problem, the best part. Whenever you keep money in the bank to pay bills and stuff or for savings, that helps you because it counts against your daily balance for lower interest. That's affordable interest mortgage. Find out more at AIMortgage.net, 720-895-0500, 720-895-0500.
You know how hard it is to find a great company with great prices. And here's one, Master Rooter Plumbing. If you are ever told you need a sewer line replacement, you got to call these guys out. They'll bring the camera out, they'll run it down the drain, they'll do everything, and they'll do it for free to verify you need that sewer line. And if you do, they'll save you up to 50%, actually up to 60%. I've seen quotes come in from other companies at $20,000. Master Rooter does it at $8,000. They're great people on the referral list, 720-434-3406, 720-434-3406.
The Taylor Gun Show.
Taylor Gun Show.
They're back.
So, Mark, they were having a drawing for some cash prizes up at the Monarch poker room.
Yeah, I gave you those tickets I had. Remember?
So I looked up I wasn't going to go yesterday, but at one point there were 244 people on the waiting list.
Oh my God!
How stupid can you be to put your name on a waiting list when you're number 243 to be number 244?
There's no purpose in it unless you're going to be there a month.
Well, the thing is, you have to be there to win the prize. So I guess what people did, they put their names on and they just waited. They could wait in any part of the casino to see if they won the prize.
You never can tell.
So this new variant, man, they're saying is way more.
Is it deadly?
The Mu variant?
Is it more?
What is this now? What do they say about this variant?
It's in 49 states.
And what does it do?
It's just it hops quicker, man.
Well, it's still
spreads quicker.
Is it airborne?
More virulent.
But is it airborne?
I'm just reading it.
Airborne is what scares the shit out of me, but we haven't had
more
that.
transmissible than the Delta variant.
But in what way does it
variant? And has the potential to resist vaccines. Well,
Tommy, remember the cracked bathtub last week? Remember the install of the bathtub is cracked. They did another one that cracked. Anyway, the owner of the company responded. Do you want to read that response? You want to do their follow-up today, tomorrow? I don't even know if
he's the guy that says, look, you can't expect perfection. I mean, that's
he said he had a hamburger at the airport.
I thought his email said we offered him $6,000 cash, and
are you shitting me?
The customer wants $10,000 and won't even let us come back. Said I thought that's what the email said. You might want to. You're included in it. I don't know what you're.
Sorry. Where is it?
From Marty, of course.
Right
Just go through his thousand. Yeah, am I reading it? It's made $6,000 for repair work that would be worse than. Since the customer was refused Dreamstyle to return and make repairs, a cash settlement was the only way to reach a resolution. The Fergusons demanded $10,000 as a cash settlement. My compromise was $8,000.
That is fucking great.
I mean,
and it's a tiny little crack. Jesus, you can't even notice the crack.
Do you just want me to get
take my $8,000 and.
Do you want me to get the caller on for this show? You want me to wait till tomorrow?
Whenever we need them. Next hour.
All right.
You decide.
Who do I send to besides George? And I said George, and who's the new guy?
I know. I don't know. I gotta find out, Mark. Let me see if
Hold on, let me see.
Huh?
I'm looking to see who else I.
I just go on the stream here. I go George, and then it says also. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see if I get an also.
I think I'll do it right away.
Like I say, I'll know when I get up and go to walk. So damn
I don't think it's gonna fix everything, but it definitely takes down all the information.
I just don't want
Gabe?
I
don't think it's Gabe. I think I've sent it to Gabe before.
Why is George ignoring it?
No, I'm just sending it to both.
I just want to be right.
Brian still gets involved, by the way.
Second 45 minutes where everybody starts sitting on all fours. Yeah. If I can just get close to that, I'm fine.
Keep surfaces sanitized all day. Spray on hard surfaces kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses initially. Causes COVID-19. Microban 24 keeps killing bacteria for 24 hours. When used as directed, Microban 24. Touch after touch, it doesn't give up.
Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK. SilverleafMortgage.com for your reverse loans. SilverleafMortgage.com for help with their nonprofit organization they have for you. So if you have to fix up your home to get it ready for a reverse appraisal, they can do it with low interest or no interest and sometimes a grant, depending on your need. They're really good people. I know them very, very well. SilverleafMortgage.com for your reverse loan needs, including grants and low interest loans. And here, listen to this one. They will get you going in as little as 3 weeks on this deal. 720-REVERSE. 720-REVERSE. Now, I'm going to be talking a little more about IV and what it does, and I'm going to interview Talib, see what's going on with him. We got him some IV for muscle relaxing and pain, and it may not work right away. Never ask people to make stories up. Hey, Bill, you want to talk about teachers? Go ahead, Bill. And we have lines open at 303-713-TALK. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I was just calling to see follow federal or Colorado labor laws with breaks and lunch hours.
Well, you know what? I don't know about that. Now, teachers, by the way, they don't get breaks, or they do?
Do not.
I don't,
well, they got a break every other class, right?
Well, hold on, though.
No, I meant during the workday.
Okay, Bill, help me out here.
15-minute break.
Help me out here. That's what I was going to ask you. What are the normal breaks allowed by law? I'm not familiar. I don't get this question every day. So let's talk about it. What are the normal breaks?
I think every 4 hours you work, you get a 15-minute lunch break, and every 8 hours you should get a 30-minute lunch break.
So every 4 hours is 15 minutes. So let's say you work. Does that mean that you must get a break after 4 hours?
It's a 10-minute rest break for each 4 hours worked in Colorado.
Every 4 hours, 10 minutes.
Except teachers are exempt from that.
They'll
work their entire day and get like 15 minutes for lunch.
Yeah, but they get like 4 months off.
Well, Mark, but really on a day-to-day basis.
Nice
Bill, what brought? No, I'm curious about this. Truly, Bill, what brought this up? Are you married to a teacher?
Yeah. So they'll work 7:30 to 4:30, whatever,
right.
And then when the kids go to lunch, 35, 40 minutes, they'll have a lunch duty or recess duty, so their lunch is 15 minutes.
Okay.
And there's no 10-minute breaks throughout the day.
But wait a second, aren't they salaried? They're not hourly, right?
Are they? They're salaried.
I think you're talking about hourly work.
Hourly is different, I think, than salaried. But you know what? It's a good question, though, Bill. So if you hang on, I'm going to really try to get an answer. How about that? I mean, I don't take it lightly. I'd like to know. In fact, we ought to brush up on that again. Let's try to get someone familiar with it. I'm Tom Martino, and we have more coming up from Rocky Mountain IV Medics.
Right after that, I want to get the next hour open and talk about it, and then you can leave.
No worries.
Okay.
I am usually taking a pill right about now. I'm usually jumping up in this.
So let's just see if you notice a difference.
We're testing now.
Yeah, with all that Toradol right now. With all that Toradol.
I'm usually jumping up out this chair right about now to run out here.
It says they get a break.
So let's see
who. It says any teacher who works for more than
the magnesium. You gave the magnesium, the Toradol, and what else?
I just did like a Myers cocktail, but then
what was that other?
The taurine.
Yeah. You gave taurine. Good.
I'm about to take a walk.
So what do you think, brother?
I'm popping, but I'm moving.
Let me see you jump up and down.
No.
You need to horseback ride. Do a handstand. I'll give you $5.
Times.
No.
I'll be back. I'll tell you on my way back.
Okay.
Did you know elephants are one of the few animals that can't jump?
Can't you
I wonder if you gave them a cocktail if they could jump.
Can't you just pump them full of ibuprofen and you feel better, right?
Well, I gave him Toradol, which is like a heavy ibuprofen.
So there's no way you shouldn't feel better.
He should have some relief for sure.
Well, he'd have to.
It just depends on what his.
Oh man, if you look at his spine on his X-ray, it's like this, and where it comes down to the pinch part, it's like this.
Yeah. So I mean that's pretty painful, and it's like I told him this isn't going to fix him for sure, but it will relieve it a little bit.
Hey Doc, guess who's going to start doing mortgages?
Who?
Costco.
Come on.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Full mortgage program for Costco members.
It's probably not a bad deal.
I'll tell you, Costco travel, I wouldn't travel any other way. If you're going to use a agency.
Yeah, and I'm buying my refrigerator through Costco when I move in.
If you get 2 years instead of 1 year,
right,
and then you can I think it's like $150.
There you go. Still
You
there?
can buy
It's still there. We'll
a
see what's
5-year
going on.
or a 10-year warranty. I did that.
Right.
Mine broke after 3 years. They cut me a check for $2,800.
Oh, yeah.
Plus another $300 for the
Try
food.
doing
It's
this.
a great deal.
So, when you sit in your chair, try like going like this.
I'm a
and
big
you do it,
Costco
like,
fan.
push
It's
right
just
here,
a multi,
you're
it's like
taking
a
those-
QuickBooks
yeah,
or whatever.
okay.
Quicken
And then
Loans.
do it
Mhm.
like 3
It's
different
not
spots and see
Costco.
if that helps you back.
It does. I have
Did
ball.
you do that?
I have a ball that I do that on.
Yeah.
How did it work out, Talib?
Well, we'll see.
Is it any better?
I'm not screaming and hollering pill right now. I'm feeling it, but I'm not,
Yeah.
I would have literally ran out there, took a pill, and came back in here and sat down and went, okay, hurry up, pill.
Yeah. He was telling me kind of what your injury was. Unfortunately, the back is really painful. Yeah.
I've got this ball, and that's one of my exercises, rolling out in
Yeah.
3 different directions. And sometimes.
Can you send me Big Bear's phone number?
Sometimes I just take the ball and I just hug it and just kind of lay over it,
Mhm.
and that kind of opens all that up.
You can do that, and when you're laying in bed, you can actually like push right here above your, and it activates that muscle, and so then it pulls you forward.
Just push right
Yeah,
here.
push like down, like right above your pelvic bone, and then just push up. So it just activates that muscle there. It
Okay.
tells it, hey, I'm here, I can help.
Okay.
So
Well, they
that.
They literally have me working core all the time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stretch these tendons back here because they seem to draw down, and that drives me crazy. I mean, it's like my problem is in my back, but my legs are the ones that hurt.
Yeah,
It's insane.
that's something you can do. Like if you've been sitting for a long time, it'll help you when you get up.
Hey, dude, I'm going to send you some pictures to that email of a tile job. So the tile was done. It looks great. Master Rooter went out there and snaked their toilet and apparently scratched up some of the tile. So they're willing to pay like, I don't know, $1,500, $1,600 to have it fixed. But the guy wants the entire bathroom redone. I don't know. Let me send you the pictures and just... I don't think so. You mean just a tile? Let me send you the pictures and then email me back what you think.
This out the door here.
All right, let me send you these and then tell me when you look at them and I'll call you back. All right, bye. Let's see.
Oh, see. Now I can write all day.
Hey, I watched a new thing on Showtime last night, Mark.
Yeah.
It's called American Rust. It's a sort of a true detective kind of thing.
Oh, is it good?
Starring Jeff Daniels.
I'll check it out.
I love Jeff Daniels.
I do.
So check it out. It's called American Rust.
How many episodes or seasons?
So it's going to be it's one a week. So I saw the first episode last night, but it looks really good.
What's it on?
It's on Showtime. It's called American Rust. It's a little bit slow moving to begin with, but if you're Jeff Daniels, you can see where this is building up. But I just love Jeff Daniels. Ever since Newsroom, he's been my favorite actor. Have you ever seen Newsroom?
I don't think
It
so.
is the best.
Really?
It absolutely is the best
Wow,
two-season series.
Great.
I'm with you with you.
Yeah, Newsroom is. Don't you think so, Tully?
It was a blow up.
You know why? Because who wrote that? Aaron Sorkin, the guy who wrote West Wing.
All right.
Okay.
You love Newsroom.
It's very tight and it tracked really right along with the kind of shit that's going on.
And
right
also
now.
the dialogue and the repartee in the Newsroom is so tremendous.
Did you watch The White Lotus?
No, is that good?
It's pretty good. It's only 6 episodes on HBO Max.
It's about some kind of resort, right?
Yeah, so they fly out to this resort, and it basically follows 4 different guests going through it, all with weird shit.
Is it like Fantasy Island used to be?
No, nothing like Fantasy Island. Although there is a new Fantasy Island now, but I didn't like it. It was pretty good.
I'm not liking it very much.
I used to love the Love Boat and then Fantasy Island right after it. Yep.
You're sick. How can you like Love Boat?
Fuck, the Love Boat.
Oh, come on. It's so corny.
Oh, my God. I love it.
It is when you watch it now, but back then it was
Yeah, I was like 10.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was great. And Fantasy Island was always great.
I don't know how the fuck I'm supposed to be interviewed today. Some cold case file. Remember that? Oh my! I told you about it. Some cold case in Tampa. I was live at. With 40.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. This hour brought to you by Water Pros. I love these guys. WaterPros.net. Now, that's easy to remember, right? Paul the Waterman, WaterPros.net. They don't sell on fear. So many people sell on fear and lies. These people tell you the truth about your water. And the truth is, we all need purification, I swear to God. In Denver, they have lead and all this kind of crap. Our drinking water, even Denver admits it's not worth it. They're sending out pictures with these filters on them for your drinking water. Look, you can have a drinking fountain put into your kitchen where you can get pure water for under $1,000. You can have the whole house done for under $2,000. The whole house. Yeah, waterpros.net. They also do softening, low maintenance, computerized systems, waterpros.net, the people we endorse. Now, let's talk right now. Bill brought up a topic I'd like to explore. We're trying to get a legal counsel on. Sue's, I wonder if that one attorney that used, okay, good. She's trying them right now. We're going to try to get some ideas. Now, another thing. Ed's got a question about selling a house. We'll go to him. And then we have a follow-up on a cracked bathtub. And I'm going both ways here on how to deal with it. But, Ed, you first. Let's talk about selling a house. What's going on?
Yeah, Tom, thanks for taking the call. I share ownership with my brother in a house in New Jersey.
Okay.
We've had it for 12 years. We've been sharing the expenses.
All right.
Suddenly he says he wants to sell his half of the house. I don't want to sell my half of the house. We had a verbal agreement when we inherited the house from my parents when they passed away. That verbal agreement was we'll keep it, we'll share the expenses, and we'll pass it on, me to my 2 daughters, him to his 2 daughters. I don't want to sell. He wants to sell.
Right.
We're kind of at an impasse. You know, what am I obligated to do?
Well, here's the thing. How is title held right now?
Title is held in both our names.
Okay. Now, with the absence of a partnership agreement, most states have, which are canned agreements, meaning, let's just put it to you this way. In Colorado, if I had a partner and I didn't have an agreement, Colorado partnership laws would take over. Most states have partnership laws that would intercede if you don't have an agreement. And it's a very simple thing, okay? And most states are going to be similar, I think. And that is this.
New Jersey, too, I think.
Most states will probably be like this. And if not, a court of equity certainly would be. And that is, you can't stop him from selling. If you want to liquidate a partnership, the assets are sold. They're valued and sold. Most of the time, a holdout cannot prevent you from selling it. In other words, because that would be a due hardship on the other guy, whereas if you want it, fine, buy him out. The hard part is going to be agreeing on valuation. You have to have it valued, and really, most partnerships are dissolved that way. Assets are sold, obligations are paid, the difference is split. And in the absence of an agreement of who owns what, it's split 50-50. So that's probably what would happen. If you're asking me, can you simply stop him? No, you probably can't. And the reason I ask how is title held, because if you both had a divided interest, and I don't know how it's done in Jersey, but if you had half and he had half, he could sell his half, and that's what you don't want him doing, is selling half to someone else. But if it's held as an undivided half interest, that's the best way, meaning both of you own all of it, right? Do you know how it's literally held? Is it joint tenancy, tenants in common? Do you know?
That I don't know. I just know that both our names are on the title, and I think we even added our daughters' names, his two daughters and my two.
Well,
daughters.
that's weird. Hold on a second. How did you add them?
I don't know. They asked us what we wanted to do later.
How many people are on the title then?
I guess if they are, and I'm not sure if they are. I remember us talking about it. If they are, it would be his two daughters, my two daughters. That's 4, and the two of us is 6.
Well, then, if there's 6 of you on there in the absence of a partnership agreement, you're all going to get a vote.
If they're tenants in common, though, that's going to be insane.
That's right. Well, you mean as far as selling their own kind?
Oh my God! You could have 6 different strangers.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
See, that's why you'd rather it be. You got to find that out. And if you want to do all this before approaching him, I can get some information. We know attorneys in Jersey we can call for advice. So tenants in common or joint tenancy, you have to figure that out. Okay.
Tenants in common
or joint tenancy. How is it held? Or Jersey may have another form.
Okay.
So
I got some homework to do.
Yeah. Just find that out. And here's what most likely will happen. It's that if one wants to sell, they have to be able to get out of it. I mean, you can't just hold them hostage. I
can't hold them hostage.
It's the one that wants out that usually gets their way. But what does his daughters want out?
Well, I was just at the wedding a couple of days ago. Yeah, one of the daughters I spoke to said she likes the house. She would like to.
Is there a reason? Can I ask you something? What's your reason for keeping it?
My reason for keeping it is I'm here in Denver. I go there for a month. It's 10 minutes from the Jersey Shore.
Is it vacant?
It's vacant. He lives in Long Island, so.
How did you guys get the house? It was left to you?
Yeah, it was left to us.
What was it worth at the time they left it to you?
I'm just guessing about $150,000.
What is it worth now?
Community. What? That's a good question. I don't know. It needs some work. That's another thing. I mean, it's 42 years old. It's in a retirement community.
What community is it in?
Tom's River.
That's a nice community.
Yeah, I know it's a nice community, and it's been part of the family, as part of the family. That was the whole deal. We were just going to keep it going, throw a few bucks in there to fix it up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you personally, just off the not off the record, but between me and you, I'm telling you, man, now's a great time to sell. I mean, as far as if you want to optimize.
Right, but I don't know. There's a few. It's not.
It sounds like you're emotionally attached to it.
We'd have to put a few bucks into it because.
Well, you may or may not know. You can sell. Things are selling as is right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And how are you close to that water right there at Tom's River?
No, we're 10 minutes from the beach.
Well, that's what I mean. That is close.
That's close. Yeah.
So you're not near? Are you near Beechwood? Are you near Pine Beach? Are you near Island Heights? I'm looking at different communities.
Yeah. Well, look. No, we're further west.
Okay.
From Island Heights. Look up. It's a retirement community. Look up Holiday City.
Yeah.
One of those.
The whole area looks really nice, and it's one of the nicer places. When I was back there, it used to be one of the nicer places.
It still is. It still is. I just came back from there. It still is. So.
Yeah, but it's vacant. How much? What expense does it cost you?
Well, taxes run around. I think the taxes are around $2,800 for the year.
Listen, here's another thing you got to remember, okay? And that is, if your brother and you, if he wants out bad enough, they may not require, unless they require a valuation, you may want to just settle with your brother. You could end up ahead. I'm not suggesting you screw him, but let's say he just,
I know what you mean.
let's just say he wants to settle for an amount of cash, and you say, look, man, I I don't, without going through real estate commissions and fixing the place up, I want to keep it. You could end up, is it paid for right now?
Yeah, it's all paid for. We had no initial investment in this house.
You can get no, that's what I mean. You can get a small loan. You could easily buy him out, probably, you and your daughters. I mean, do you have any idea what he has in mind for money?
Oh, I don't know. Let's say he has to get, let's say $75,000, for half the house.
Well, yeah, but that was what you inherited it at, $150.
Yeah, but it hasn't. I'm telling you, it hasn't gone up. I know what the tax assessment is on the house.
Yeah, but and why don't you off the air? Do me a favor, off the air. Give Suzanne an address, and I'm going to put it in Google. I just want to look at it.
Okay.
And listen, you may want to just if he would be bought out at a reasonable price, you might want to think long and hard about it. It might be a good deal for you. Hold on. Hey, Suze, Ants, if you could, he's going to give you an address. If you could grab it from him, if you can. He's on Ed on line 3 or Suzanne. Get an address from him. I want to put it in Google.
Gotcha.
303-713-8255. Okay, listen. A final word from Rocky Mountain Ivy Medics coming up. I want to talk about what you can expect and also what they do, what they don't do, and I want to see how Talib's doing. He had some anti-inflammatory and some pain medications in his. We'll see how it's working. And also any questions you may have. 303-713-8255.
Paragon. I want you to do it in the middle, Mark. Okay.
All right, let's talk about something near and dear to most people's heart and pocketbook, and that is a loan. Ideal Home Loans is a lender I highly recommend. Brent Ivinson and his team are there to help you as direct mortgage lenders. They pride themselves on controlling the entire underwriting process, and what they can do is get your loan done quickly. Mostly 3 weeks or less. And if it's a pre-approval, not a pre-qualification, but a pre-approval, they can do it within days from you putting a contract in. So your offer goes to the top. Now, this pre-approval is not a pre-qualification. It is money put aside in your name. You are approved. IdealHomeLoans.com. You can pick your own term. They have credit optimization and, of course, the interest rate guarantee. 303-867-7000. That's 303-867-7000. IdealHomeLoans.com.
All right, so true story. Check it out. We have a hailstorm come through. I think I have roof damage. I see my neighbors getting new roofs a few weeks later. I call up my insurance company. You know what the deadbeats tell me? They say, oh, you don't have any damage, Mr. Major. Well, guess what I did? I called up Matt at Paragon Services. Bam, bam, bam. About 3 weeks later, guess what? $70,000. You know, your insurance company, I don't care how great you think they are, that adjuster that comes out has one goal, not to give you anything. When you have any claim and you need help with it, call Matt at Paragon, 719-726-0020, or find them on our referral list at referrallist.com.
Mark, remember the woman was told $800?
And she got $80,000.
I remember that. Anyway, let's talk about another way that you utilize the legal system, and that is in personal injury. No one wants a personal injury lawsuit, but of course, if you're injured and it's someone else's fault, you really do need to be made whole. John Fuller will give you an honest-to-God assessment of your case. He'll give you free legal advice when you need it the most. John Fuller, Fuller Law. So if you're in an accident, it involves injuries. After you take care of all of that at the scene, call him for free advice on what you should expect, what to do, if you can do it yourself, or if you need an attorney. he won't charge you for that information. And then even when you hire him, there's no obligation. But if you hire him, it's all done on a contingency fee basis. John Fuller, Fuller Law, 303-597-4500.
For your home. And when your home sells for more, you keep the difference. No longer do you have to choose between an easy home sale or the best price for your home. Let me tell you about Rudy, a recent Orchard customer. Rudy's home sold on the market for $33,000.
Addie, do you have this Soda Stream? Does she have it? No.
You missed out on that extra money. But with Orchard, you got more cash at closing. Rudy's
cool. And he makes his own?
Out of 100 Orchard customers sell on market for more than the offer. Getting started is easy. You go online and enter your
That's a great idea.
Takes just a couple minutes and lets you skip home listing.
Mark, did you see the pictures?
Yeah, that's a tiny little house. Holy shit.
And then I emailed you guys.
Did you set the address, Mark?
Tommy, I emailed you the address as well for that house.
Yeah. This little house. Oh, Mark, that little house in Tom's River.
You just said 150 grand. Right?
No, it's worth more than that right now.
How much? Yeah, I can imagine. 350?
I'll bet you it's worth $250. You know what? It depends on that neighborhood.
Well, he said it needs a lot of work too. Zillow's got it at
what?
200.
And that's low usually, isn't it?
When you interview financial advisors, and if you already have one, use the checklist to evaluate if they are right for you. You will get all.
It's actually bigger than I thought. It's 1,400.
It's free. So register right now for a special encore presentation of our virtual event on September 14th at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. Register at
How do you like that lawn treatment?
I love it.
Let's go mow the shades.
So what's Panacea and THC and CBD? What was that going on? These guys are being interested.
Who's that?
Jules wants to know what
okay.
Panacea.
They're still around. I mean, I did their commercial. I'm going to do another one.
He's in, and the guy who tested positive for THC.
Oh, that case. I don't remember what happened with that. I think what they did was they,
I don't remember either. He tested positive, and they said it was the. I don't know what they did.
He tested. He tested positive for THC.
Yeah, but he was
been taking CBD.
CBD with no THC.
He was taking their no THC formula.
He was supposed to send over the people at Panacea all his test results and everything else, and I don't know what happened since then.
No, but Jamie would remember if I asked him.
Yeah.
We were going to ask him next time he
Hey, Jules, you owe me lunch.
Did you have it done right in your hand? Really, your vein? You can do it right in there. It hurts, doesn't it?
Well, he had nothing up here.
You're real sensitive up there in here.
But Tom, every IV I've gotten has been in my hand because I have no veins.
What causes someone not to have veins?
Just you have it.
No, we've got veins. They're just
lower down.
Lack of morals.
Yeah.
That's why you have no arteries.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. I have to mention to you SaferNet.com because that is something that is becoming more and more critical. SaferNet saved my ass at the airport the other day. I was actually getting attacked, my computer, by hackers, unknown, of course. And I got a notice that they were blocking it. SaferNet is an app that runs in the background on your computer, on your phone, on your tablet, wherever you want it. It runs in the background, and it protects you from all malware, from all viruses, from all ransomware. And when I was at the airport in California, I was getting bombarded by hackers. And this thing was just ping, ping, ping. It's amazing.
Probably Democratic operators.
It also, by the way, will help you have control over the computers on your system. SaferNet.com. So, in other words, your kids' phones, your kids' laptops, you can control everything they view or not view. Or it's wonderful, like 125 different controls you have. SaferNet.com. It's only a couple bucks. Literally a couple dollars a month for each item. All right, now let's keep going here. We're trying to figure out. And by the way, I looked at the house, and that house is worth about $225. Now, here's the thing, Ed. If your brother would settle and say, look, you know, if we cut out by the time we sell it and put up and have commissions and all that, you know, I'll just give you what you'll net. And then I'd try to buy him out if I were you without going through the long process of going through the appraisals and all of that. And if he would settle...
And you saw that where? That it was worth $225?
Well, here's what we did. I applied my own knowledge based on what Zillow said, which was $200, and then your acquiring price, which was $150. And Zillow is way low right now, but I even just added another $25 to make it $225. I think it probably sell for even a little more. I know real estate is going crazy all over, but if I were you, I would try it. You know, that's going to be better than selling, because if you sell now, there's nothing to prevent you. If he says, "Oh, I'd rather sell it and see what we can get," you can show him on a settlement statement. This is what I did for someone. They were going through a divorce, and I said, look, show him what it will actually net him and offer him that amount of money without the brain damage. Even though your brother might think, oh, it's going to go for way more, when you actually show a closing statement and you mock it up on real costs, on what it will cost to sell it, with all the title insurance, the legal, the commissions, by the time he nets it, he can get it quickly and easier, and then you have a better investment. That's what I would do if I were you. But no, you can't stop someone from wanting to get out of an asset when you're a partnership with the lack of a partnership agreement. You could if you had a partnership agreement. But if you don't, it defaults to general partnership law, according to the state. Jimmy, what's going on with you, Jimmy? And we're still trying to get an answer on employment and teachers. I was wondering if we should talk to, you know, the one attorney we used to have that did some employment law, if he would know on, what was his name? He was pretty knowledgeable.
John Davis? What's the question?
On teachers getting breaks and why it doesn't follow regular labor law for the mandatory breaks. Mark, you were saying it does follow the law.
It said they do get a break. It was kind of weird. It said like it didn't actually give a time, but it said they have to get an appropriate break each day. And I think it said between noon and 2, probably for lunch.
Anyway, what's going on with you, Jimmy?
My situation, Tom, is I went and I purchased 2 cell phones at Verizon 2 years ago this month.
Yeah.
All right? The next day I decided that I would go better with another carrier. I took both of the phones back, all right? They charged me a restocking fee, and they gave me my receipts, all right?
Do you still have the receipt?
Months after that, yes, sir. I have them right in front of me. But I have talked to 7 people, 2 of them supervisors, all right, to try to work this out, all right? I told them I had mailed copies of the receipts to Texas, all right?
Hey, Jimmy, what are they saying you still have the phones?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But they're not charging you for charging you for the service, just for the phones themselves?
Yes. I guess it's $1,000, almost $1,000, and I don't have the phones. I returned them the next day. They gave me 2 copies of the receipts, all right? And, you know, I can't speak. I don't know what to do about this situation. I got a letter in the mail Friday, okay? Somebody from Jacksonville, another agency. I tried to explain to him the situation, all right? He told me, mail me the copy of the receipts, and we'll try to get it done. Sir, I don't think nothing's going to happen again. And like I said, I have my receipts. They have their phones. Can you help me?
Yeah, how many years ago was this, did you say?
This was 2 years, September.
Yeah, got it. That's okay. 2 years ago. And what location did you? What location? Where did you return them? What location?
At the Aurora Mall.
Okay. It could be, just so you know, that you did.
I called Verizon.
Yeah.
I called Verizon, and they supposedly have turned it over to an agency. I called the agency. I went to another Verizon store over off of.
But what are they doing?
West
Tell me how
Evans
how is this affecting you?
Sir, it's just frustrating that nobody knows what they're doing.
I understand, but how is it affecting you? Are they putting you into collection? What have they actually done to you?
They have put it in collection. Okay, I had filed bankruptcy 2 years ago this month because my wife had passed away. All right, and this is jeopardizing my credit right now. All right.
Were these two phones after the bankruptcy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I get it. And you're right. If you file a bankruptcy, you want everything to be perfect after that.
Yes, sir.
Yep, I get it.
So
I get it.
Nobody knows what they're doing. Like you just asked
do we have an angel over at Verizon still? I thought we had one.
I think so.
You know, we have someone at Verizon that handles problems for us. And you're going to hate to hear this, but we need to get your receipt too and your information.
Sir, I have it.
And you can get it to us by email. Hold on, and Suze will work on it. Really, we'll get it to someone at Verizon to look at it. All right. Now, Rocky Mountain IV Medics, she'll be leaving in a few minutes. But I did have a few questions. Now, first of all, Talib, seriously, you had, and I sprung this on you. I said, hey, why don't we do an IV treatment for you? So you got some hydration, some vitamins. What else did he get, Andrea? What else did you give him?
So we gave him the Myers cocktail, which is our most popular one. And then we gave him a little bit of Toradol also.
Yeah, Toradol is for pain.
For pain, it's like.
And then some anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, there's anti-inflammatory vitamins in there. Yeah,
okay. So did you notice any difference at all, Talib, in being hydrated?
Well, right about now, I would have been rushing to get a bottle of water and take some of my normal medications.
So it helped a little.
It seems to have helped a little. I'm moving around.
Yeah. Hydration, like I said, it's not a miracle drug, but it absolutely helps in most conditions. And as we heard from Andrea, they routinely go to people's homes who have COVID. So they're medical people. They're used to it. You guys wear all the appropriate gear and all that probably, right?
Yes.
And you're seeing a lot of, is it the Delta you're seeing or just regular COVID? Do you know or not?
So I'm assuming there's a little different, a little bit of a difference. People have more stomach issues with the new Delta virus. So we're assuming that it is, but we have no way of actually testing when we go out. Of
course. And so you do hydrations for people who are sick, people who just want wellness therapy, right?
Absolutely.
Athletes, migraines, hangovers, anything else?
Yeah, just general health people get it for. The NAD will help with brain fog, energy levels.
Oh, for sure. NAD is wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
And NAD is like, I call it a cellular rejuvenation. It's what you need to convert energy in your body. And it somehow, though, when you get it, you don't pee it all out. I mean, you retain it for a while, for a few weeks, right?
Correct. When you get it through an IV or a shot, an intramuscular shot, you retain it better than, say, an oral vitamin.
Yeah. And you can have it done. See, I have it done in the studio monthly. You can have it done in your home. And the key is that it doesn't cost anymore. And I want to make this clear. This is kind of like, when I say kind of like Uber, I mean, they're medical professionals, okay? They're not just people that they hire off the street, but you can text them, and it works like that in that you can get service within an hour most of the time. And I'm going to give out that number. It's RockyMountainIVMedics.com, and it's 720-987-2155. 720-987-2155. Now, by the way, you don't have to leave. You can stick around, but I just wanted to make sure I got that out. So whatever you want to do is fine.
I think I'll go and
all right.
Get Stephanie, and then I got another appointment back home.
All right.
Sponsored by
Thank you, guys.
Credit Union.
Good seeing you again.
You're welcome.
See you in a month.
Yeah.
All right, Tom. Now, see, her new name is the Juice Lady. The juice, I like it. Yeah, I guess she juices you up.
Well, I think just call the juicer.
Did you text Steph or did she know you?
I texted her. Yeah. I ratted you out. I'll go take care of her then. See you guys. Have a good day.
See ya. No, that tour. that when that Toradol is fucking intravenous, it goes right to work. That's what I love. I wish I could do it myself. I mean, and Toradol is not exactly the strongest medicine. Well, it's pretty strong, but Doc, when you have that pain med right in your blood,
I had a shot at Toradol. Didn't do a thing.
Did you have it in your vein or you?
I am.
That's westerncu.com.
When I went to Spine One,
let's talk about Colorado Pain Care, Sport and Spine. Colorado Pain Care, another place I've gone, and I say I've gone. I don't go there anymore. I can if I want, but they did away with my chronic that pain that was getting to me that I got recently. And you know what? I highly recommend them because they're people, as I say, of action and compassion. I mean, they really feel for you. They deal with people in pain. They want to get your life back. They do not just accept pain, and they don't call it pain management. They call it pain eradication. Colorado Pain Care, Sport and Spine, 303-GOT-PAIN. All kinds of treatments, doctorate level physical therapy. I love their PT, and they've given me things to do on my own. ColoradoPainCare.com, 303-GOT-PAIN. All right, I've been talking about this guy so much you may think, hey, mate, do you own that company? I wish I did. Affordable Interest Mortgage. He's a mortgage broker with a team ready to serve you. And here's the bottom line. They just find the best loan for you. They have conventional VA, FHA, jumbo loans. They have low down payment loans. They have first-time buyer programs. But I like the liquid loan, which I call it, the liquid loan, which is basically a line of credit. That's the easiest way, except it's for 30 years. So you don't have to keep going back and applying. You have one line of credit on your home, and you can borrow against it and then pay it back and borrow and pay it. That's why I call it liquid. And you pay simple interest. So it's not the same payment every month. You pay simple interest. So whatever you owe, and you can pay interest only. Or you can pay more. And for every dime you have in the bank, it counts against the average daily balance. So if you keep a few grand in the bank, that's like having a few grand paid down on your home. But it's not frozen. It's there for you to use whenever you need it. AImortgage.net. 720-895-0500. 720-895-0500.
Ready for an oil change? Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need. Now get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95 and earn double O rewards points for your purchase. Protect your engine against sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. On sale now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Colorado friends. Are your missing or failing teeth holding you back from the foods you love? At Clear Choice, we understand. Your teeth are an important part of how you look and feel, and it's easier to enjoy all of the great food and fun Colorado is famous for when you're at your best. It's time to get a free consultation at Colorado's Clear Choice. Our doctors are leaders in restoring oral health and function. Dental implants offer a permanent solution, so you can appreciate all of life's pleasures, including our delicious local food. Led by Dr. Jovic and Dr. Mackert, Colorado's Clear Choice team provide options for lasting tooth replacement. Take control of your health and gain the freedom to live the life you want. Go to clearchoice.com and schedule your free consultation. Today's the day to get back out there and experience Colorado's amazing food worry-free. Visit clearchoice.com.
Did you know that you can find home buying, selling, and financing services all under one roof? It's true. It really is possible to work with a one-stop shop for all your needs. You've just got to call American Financing, Colorado's home for home loans. Hey, it's Ross, and I love American Financing because they pair you with a salary-based mortgage consultant. So you get a custom loan designed around your needs, and you have guidance every step of the way. Whether it's your first, next, or forever home, they really do have you covered. From competitive rates to down payment assistance, and let's not forget low monthly payments, it is a no-pressure experience that's focused on you. And they never charge upfront or hidden fees. So what are you waiting for? There has never been a better time to make your move.
Hey, Tommy, TED Talks is coming to Metro, so I guess Addie can go watch it for free or something. But...
Yeah, I love TED Talks.
I know.
Is it what particular topic, though? Do you know what they're doing?
I don't know, to ask her.
Usually what they do is they book a number of topics for the whole day. Right. They record them for the future. I'd like to know what
she said she can go for free. Isn't that cool? I'll find out. I'll have Addie email you.
But Pi Insurance is changing that, and founder John Swigert is here with me to tell us how.
At Pi, we saw that small businesses needed a better way to handle coverage. We built Pi Insurance from the ground up for them. We make getting workers' comp a no-brainer with simple online shopping. Best of all, we're helping them save up to 30%.
And the reviews say it all.
That's right. Pi Insurance is rated excellent on Trustpilot by our customers. They tell us we're fast, affordable, and easy to work with.
Thanks. Bottom line here is that if you run a small business, you can say goodbye to expensive, complicated workers' comp and discover the next generation of small business insurance. Why not see if Pi can save you up to 30%? Ask your agent for Pi or check your rate today at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
You don't pay back on about 10.
Only with excelroofing.com.
Denver's top station, available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app.
Now #1 for podcasting.
630 KHOW, an iHeartRadio station.
Troubleshooter 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Don't forget waterpros.net for your wonderful water system, whether it be filtration or conditioning. The best systems at the lowest prices. I really believe in this guy and his products. I have him in my home, waterpros.net, because it's honesty, integrity, and good pricing. Everything you want. Waterpros.net for purification and softening. Okay, let's talk to you about your problems, questions, and complaints. Robert, let's talk about this transmission. What's happening with you?
So I took my car. I have a 2017 Chevy Cruze Premier. It's like the 1.4 turbo.
Yeah.
And so my gears were skipping. Anytime I pressed the gas pedal from a complete stop, it revs all the way up to 3,000 RPM.
Wait, before it moves? And before it moves?
As it starts to move.
So when you press down on the gas to take off in regular drive, it over revs for the amount of space you're covering, right?
Yeah, it shoots up to 3,000, and then even while I'm driving, and then I feel it get stuck, and there's a loud knock, and the car kind of rocks back and forth.
Huh. That's really weird. Okay, so have you had it checked out?
Supposedly it was fixed.
Now, okay, what did they say it was?
So they had checked it, and it says right here. Let me see.
Now, let me get this. If you're driving down the highway, for example, and you're going like 50 miles an hour, all of a sudden you can see the RPM shoot up?
I guess when I start to accelerate, like while I'm like driving, it doesn't seem, it kind of like gets stuck.
Yeah.
But it's mostly when I'm accelerating, it launches up, and then a lot of times it gets stuck, and it seems to happen in like the first 3 gears.
Okay, all right.
And
when you say it gets stuck, so before it switches gears, it revs.
Yeah, it like revs for a couple of seconds. And
no, that sounds to me like it's slipping.
Bang.
It sounds like it's slipping.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Okay, so what did they do to supposedly fix it?
They said that they relearned the clutch shift.
Okay, that's about what they would do. That's what I would recommend. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a mechanic, but I mean, I would look at the clutch. And so, did it work for a while after they did that?
No. They told me to give it a couple of weeks. So I gave it a couple of weeks, and then I went back, and I was like, it didn't work. So they had me go on a test drive with the mechanic. He told me that I should get some It is the fuel injector cleaner.
Oh, that would. Come on. That's not going to rev up your RPMs.
So I gave it a try anyways, and that didn't do anything.
How many miles on this? How many miles on it?
81,000.
And it's not under warranty, right?
Yeah, it is. But when I took it in there, they're trying to tell me that it's not under warranty.
Well, that's either is or isn't. Did you say it's a 2017?
Yeah, and it's under warranty till 92,000 miles. But they were trying to tell me that whatever the problem was isn't covered by warranty.
Well, it depends on what it is. I mean, how could they say that unless they know what it is? What is that factory warranty? What is it? I mean, is it a 5-year?
Yeah, I believe so. It was like 5-year or up to 92,000 miles.
All right, hold on. I want to go to Jeff Vick, but I have to take a break. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain the problem and have him think about it. Jeff, I got to take a quick break, but a 2017 Chevy Cruze. It's got 81,000 miles on it. Here's what he says. Sometimes when he is going off from a start, it'll rev up to 3,000 RPM and then gradually move. And then sometimes when it's switching gears, it'll rev up to almost 3,000 RPMs and the motor races. And then he says he hears a clunk sometimes and it catches. So I want you to think about that. And he'll tell you what's up now because it's still doing it. And they tell him, clean your injectors after they did something with the clutches, but this sounds all crazy to me. Hold on.
Has that been pretty steady?
We've been rocking. It hasn't gone yellow one time. It hasn't dropped out. I think it likes both of them, having the Wi-Fi and the plug-in.
I don't think it's on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If it's not, don't put it on.
I'm not gonna force it on if it's not.
I'm almost sure it's not.
Fox 31 pinpoint weather, hazy, smoky sunshine today, a high of 87. No moisture expected, and then tonight's low 55. About the same for tomorrow, dry and a high of 89. Currently, it's 82. With your impact, traffic and weather.
I don't see the warm bar.
I heard yes.
Discover matches all the cash back you earned on your credit card at the because Discover is accepted at 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/checks. 2021 Nielsen report limitations apply.
Let's talk about selling your house. Of course you can sell it conventionally. Most people will get a good buy, but it does take a while to get a closing done. You may have to do some inspections and walkthroughs and fixer-ups and stuff. Listen, if you just want to check, there's another way to sell your house. You may have deferred maintenance. You may want to just get it done. Homevestors is one way to do that. Now, before you think, they're never going to give me what I want, you don't really know unless you try. There's no obligation. So this is what I say. If you're going to sell your house, try this first. Hey, if you get the price, you get the price. If you don't, then you can go on to other things. 800-44-BUYER. Just call them and find out. Nothing to lose, no obligation. 800-44-BUYER. You know, I love when you can get a loan and you have options. Like you can get a loan for whatever term you want. Ideal Home Loans will get you that ideal home loan. 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, 18 years, 23 years. You pick it, you got it. You get the lower rate and you get the term you want. And then they do credit optimization. You see, most lenders, when you're approved, that's where they stop. They just get you the loan. With Ideal, even though you're approved, they will go one step further and help you get better pricing by tweaking your credit. Maybe they correct an address or time on the job or something simple. IdealHomeLoans.com, 303-867-7000. And don't forget the interest rate guarantee. If rates go down, you're refinanced free of charge over the next 2 years. And every time you close, you get another 2-year guarantee. That's IdealHomeLoans.com, 303-867-7000. I love when things are simple. Simply Floors Inc. is simple. You just go on that website and make an appointment. They'll come to you with all of the latest styles or whatever you're interested in. Listen, floor coverings are available everywhere. So it's not really the kind of floor covering, it's where you get it, because that's where you pay. And that's where you get the installers. At Simply Floors, you pay less, and you get the better installers and the better all-around experience because they're just better people. SimplyFloorsInc.com.
If you're within 5 years of retirement, you can't afford to miss Allworth Financial's Retirement Planning Workshop, featuring the 7-step
when you're
and then
go ahead.
Also, when I brake, it revs.
Wait. So you're coming up to a stop sign or to a red light, and you turn on, you press on your brake, and your RPMs start racing.
Yeah.
And then and do they stop on their own?
Yeah, it eventually stops, but I don't know. It's kind of a struggle. I gotta like stop like extra, like start braking way in advance.
And when the RPMs race,
when the RPMs go up like that, is it still trying to push the car?
It seems like it seems like it's fighting. Like the car wants to keep going, but since I have the brakes on, it's like stopping. But yeah.
But when you take off, though, you said when you take off, you said the engine revs faster than you're actually moving.
Yeah, like I could, like, and I barely tap the gas too because I try to take off slow, and then the RPM needle just shoots up to 3,000, and you can hear it like revving.
But is it trying to pull like you're pushing 3,000 RPM, or does it feel like it's neutralizing or slipping?
Yeah, it feels like it slips a lot because when it gets to that point, it stops and then the RPMs fall back down. But like I say, it feels like it slips. There's like a loud clunk noise and the car kind of like jerks.
Like, in other words, that's what we're trying to figure out. The RPMs are not tied to the movement of the car. When the RPMs are high, the car doesn't want to go as fast as their RPMs, right?
Yeah, it's not. It's moving slow still, but you could hear like the engine revving. And
Got it. It's a clutch slipping, right?
That's internal.
Jeff?
Yeah, it certainly sounds internal to the transmission. Yes.
Like a clutch, maybe?
Yeah, clutch pack. Is yours the 6-speed or the 9-speed?
Do you know?
I know it's the 1.4 liter turbo,
okay, so it's a
4-door sedan.
Okay, so it's the 6-speed. And now you mentioned earlier somebody had already gone into.
What did they do before to you? What did they do?
They told me that they relearned the clutch shift.
Oh, so they didn't actually get into it. They just did some computer work, basically, some software.
And the transmission flush.
Okay, well, it sounds like your problems are internal to the transmission. I mean, I would have to actually check it out to verify all that. That unit does have a really bad tendency. There's a bevel spring on the 3.5 reverse clutch that has a tendency to break, and these problems can be all indicative of that.
Now, what do they mean when they say it wouldn't be covered by warranty, Robert?
I'm not for sure. I told them, I was like, I have warranty on it, and they're like, well, we'll check into it. And then, like, they came back, and they're like, well, it's not covered by warranty.
Well, but when they come back and say it's not covered, they don't even know what it is yet.
Yeah, because I gave them my Robert,
here's what I mean, Robert. When they say it's not covered, what are they referring to as it's?
Whatever my issue was, the clutch. They said that the warranty doesn't cover clutches, but it covers the transmission.
That's right. That's exactly
problem also.
Jeff, what they're saying is the clutch is a wear item.
No, not on that unit. The clutches are clutch packs. They're inside the unit itself.
So you may have to fight them, Robert, but hold on a second, and we'll figure out how to approach it. Or you go to another dealership. That's where we might want to start.
Did you break it?
Okay, we're back here.
KRFX HD2 Denver.
Did you break it? That's what I think you. Anyway, he didn't mean to break it, Mark. I think it's good now. As long as this cable keeps working. I think it gets funky when it's on both.
I don't know, man. While you were going to the store, it was on both, and it was screaming.
Did I make it?
No. No, you did not make it.
It's catastrophic.
Oh, give me a fucking break. Climate change. Yeah, we're in real trouble. We're gonna pass a law against climate change.
Yeah, well, if a law would change, would stop it, I think that would make good sense. But a law is not going to do very much.
Well, one thing, I don't deny that man has impact on the fucking environment for sure, but climate change overall, that pattern's been going on. I mean, how can they really credit us with that when we've had that kind of cyclical warming up and cooling off since the beginning of time? I mean, that's the part I don't understand. What are we doing to contribute to it? I mean, they talk about our emissions.
Carbon emissions, they talk about.
But the emissions.
Cooling up the ozone. They talk about a lot of things that we do that could be contributing to it.
It's definitely contributing to our fucking air quality in other parts of the earth and water. But I'm talking about, like, if you looked at I believe we should be good stewards of the earth, okay? We really need to be. But, and I'm not saying we shouldn't do anything, but if you look at the volume of the atmosphere, of the entire atmosphere, from all the way up to the thinnest parts, what do they call ionosphere? Is it, or is it even higher?
Well, there's also stratosphere, troposphere, ionosphere.
Yeah, if you take the entire volume of our atmosphere, and then you calculate, so let's say from the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, and you calculate the amount of emissions, on purpose, you assume that every single cubic foot of emissions never escaped and went into the atmosphere. If you look at the total volume of that compared to the immensity of the atmosphere, just by the volumes alone, it is so ridiculous to think that we are affecting that major of a cycle, though. That's the part I don't understand. I mean, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just on volume.
No, I totally understand. But I also don't have enough knowledge to know what percentage of, let's say, carbon dioxide is going to cause an effect. I have no idea. There's no basis.
But I was saying, if we assume that 100% of all emissions stayed in the atmosphere, even at that rate, I think when I did the comparison one time, it was like a fucking pinhead in Mile High Stadium, and it was like, how could it affect it?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I don't know the science, Tom.
Now, you can see where the oceans are being affected by pollution.
Right.
And you can see where the air we breathe are being. Here's what I say.
But to see whether or not
you appeal to people by. This is the problem with fucking most people. They appeal to the most outrageous bullshit that is easy to shoot down, as opposed to saying, do you want to breathe better air and drink fucking better water? Stop poisoning the planet. Don't talk about the fucking world is going to climate change in 30 years of the work. We're going to end the world. I mean, people don't identify with that shit, and then they shoot holes in it. That's the problem with our scientists. I mean, who can dispute that taking care of the earth is a good idea? Nobody can. Yet, but you do have these motherfuckers who say, you're trying to tell me cow farts are ruining, we're going into an ice age, or whatever age. The point is that the scientists themselves are making themselves mocked because of the enormity of their predictions, as opposed to just saying, we live here, let's take care of it.
Don't you think there was more
Won't everybody
monoxide?
Won't everybody?
1,000 years ago?
People won't take action.
Carbon monoxide.
They'll take action.
Why not?
Why would there be?
Because dinosaurs are way the fuck bigger than cows.
I think
that, here's what I think. Just like fucking COVID and everything else.
Yeah, I was.
It became political because they're looking at the government. They're just trying to control us by telling us the Earth is ending. Or the thing about global warming, the truth is there are scientists who don't agree with climate change, but they do agree that it's still good to take care of the fucking Earth. Why do we even have to call it climate change? Just better water, better air.
Why can't we just call it global evolution and say we're stuck on this thing, blue grape?
Let's make it the best home we can.
Unless you make it hyperbole, people don't take action.
I think just the opposite. I think the more bullshit you give them, the more they look to shoot it down. I don't know. That's what I think. I think people are so skeptical nowadays. And when Gore came out with that fucking, all his predictions and that fucking movie, Inconvenient Truth, it was such bullshit compared to what is really happening. You know.
By the way, Tom, I actually did invent the internet.
Yeah. See, here's another. I don't think people. I'm not saying it's happening or not happening. I'm saying I don't think people give a fuck about polar ice caps. They don't, because they don't. It's not in front of them.
It's not something that they touch. It's not something that.
It's like, but they do care about the purity of the oceans and the sea life and water to drink and air to breathe. Don't you think?
Well, yeah, but the polar ice caps, they just use that as a metaphor for the climate change.
That's what I'm getting at.
A hyperbolic metaphor, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK is our phone number. I've been doing this more than 40 years in Denver, solving problems, answering questions, and taking complaints to the tune of recovering hundreds of millions of dollars in cash, merchandise, exchanges, refunds, and services. This hour brought to you by Real CBD That Works. RealCBDThatWorks.com. It's really good for pain. It's really good for inflammation. It's really good for anxiety for some reason. Now, we don't know about that part, but people have been studying it as an anti-anxiety thing for years, and they just accept it because it works so well for people who are anxious. People use it when they're traveling and stuff. It's a cool thing, and you can get with or without THC at RealCBDThatWorks.com. That's Panacea Life Sciences. By the way, whatever we advertise here, okay, unlike most shows, and I'm not saying the other shows are bad, I'm just saying unlike most shows, we know each and every one of our advertisers, which means if you have a question about a product or a service, we can actually call them and find out more if you need help doing it, okay? If you need help finding out information, we can find it out for you. Now let's talk about cars and transmissions and all of that. What puzzles me is Robert definitely has a transmission problem of some kind, okay? His engine revs and his car hardly moves, and then sometimes it lunges, and sometimes it bucks, and sometimes it jolts. And okay, it's in the transmission. There's no doubt about it. Jeff Vick says it sounds like a clutch pack. What I can't understand for the life of me, I swear to God, this is the part that just blows me away, is Robert's having a problem with his car, and they say it's not covered under warranty. But they don't know what's wrong with it. So how do they know it's not covered under warranty? That's the part. I just don't even understand how they make that statement. So I think people aren't talking to each other, Robert, because you said they researched it and found it's not covered by the warranty. Did they say specifically what it was that was not covered by the warranty?
No, they said it because it's the clutch and it's normal wear and tear.
Okay, now, that's what I said. I said a clutch is considered a wear item, but Jeff Vick says, no, not in this kind of transmission. Now, Jeff, when I say clutch, of course, clutch had the old connotation of being a pad that engaged the transmission with the drive train, and it was a clutch pack. It was a pad. It wore out like a brake pad, right? That's the
Correct.
old. Okay.
Correct.
So how are the new? So, but you're saying the new clutches are not really wear items?
Well, it's not even just the new clutches. It's, if that's an internal part to the transmission itself, you have individual clutch packs that will apply to either turn or hold a portion of the gear train in order to create a particular gear ratio. Yes, indeed, they do wear, but typical clutch failure is not a result of wearing down the clutch itself. You generally have either a damaged drum, you have leak down at the valve body, you have a spring that's come apart.
Okay. In a normal transmission like this, would you ever change out the clutch packs just for routine maintenance or the pads or whatever?
No.
Okay. So
you replace them at failure.
Okay. So they're expected to be in the car for life, or are you expected now and then to change them out?
When you have a failure, yes, they would get replaced at that time when you're rebuilding or overhauling.
Then I guess what I'm asking is then, have you seen this not be part of a warranty? Is that reasonable that it's not part of a warranty?
No, it would not be considered reasonable that wouldn't be covered under warranty.
So you would say most of the time it is covered under factory warranties?
Yeah, but I mean, now this is a 2017, though, that had a 3-year $36,000 basic and a 5-year powertrain.
So that's out no matter what. So that's why they could say that, because would that be considered part of the powertrain?
No, it's part of the drivetrain.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking, Jeff, under normal conditions, would this be covered on the extended part of that warranty?
Well, that depends on his extended warranty. If he's purchased an extended warranty, then that's all going to be by contract. And if they have clutch failure in there, then they could possibly kick it out for that. But typically, you have to actually tear it down to the point of failure in order to determine what the actual cause of failure was before they can kick it out.
So, Robert, you had a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. Why would you think it would be covered no matter what?
Oh, well, I got the car with 17,000 miles, and they told me that the extended warranty was good until 92,000 miles.
Well, I don't know how they can say that because it depends on how many years it is. Did you actually look at your warranty?
Yeah, I could probably find it, but I know it was 5 years. It said either 5 years or 92,000 miles, whatever came first.
That sounds like you bought some sort of secondary warranty to go with the purchase of the car.
But those but those may not cover the clutch or the transmission. I mean,
the transmission could be excluded. Correct.
See, here's the deal.
The contract, who knows?
You want to know what I recommend, Robert? I recommend you find out what the hell's wrong with it, and you're not going to find out at a dealership. Okay, I wish I could say differently than that, but you're not. Okay, dealerships have become warranty service places and certain things they can fix, but they're not going to troubleshoot, okay? They're just not. So you go and have it troubleshooted or troubleshot. I would have Jeff or a qualified transmission place. We love Kimmer Transmission. I would have them look at it and tell you this is what's wrong with it, this is what it'll cost to fix or whatever. Then you worry about getting it covered, but I'd say that's probably going to be your quickest bet. They're not going to fix it under warranty unless you can show you have an extended warranty that covers that, and most extended warranties are just not going to cover it, Robert. I mean, when was the last time it was in a shop?
Never. This is the first time I've had to bring it into one.
I know, but the last time it was in for this, though? When did you have it in? The last?
They fixed it on the 28th of July.
Well, they said they fixed it the 28th of July.
Yeah.
And just find that warranty. It might cover it, man.
Yeah, so if you want, get back to us when you find the actual warranty and email it to us. Suze, tell him how he can email that to us. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Folks, we try to sift through the everyday aches and pains, okay? And we try to help you, if nothing more than giving you information or steps to take when you have a problem. So call us if you do have a problem at 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Now, did you know that the city of Aurora is launching a program that would send mental health professionals to respond to certain 911 calls instead of police officers? I think it's a great idea, but here's what I think is a better idea. That eventually police officers, and I don't know why they're not trained. They train police officers a lot. Why don't they train police officers also to recognize mental illness and the difference between, let's say, autism and somebody being drunk, or somebody, having a seizure and somebody resisting? I really believe that there are people who, there are cops who misunderstand what's going on in a situation, not because they want to be mean a-holes, but they think the guy's resisting or the guy is, doing something wrong or the gal is doing something wrong because they don't recognize it. I mean, I don't know this. I've never been through training, but do they train police officers on those kinds of things? Do they? I mean, what about, I say autism, I go back to that because that's kind of one that I saw recently, a show about it. And like if they don't want to be touched and you walk up to them and they get weird, that doesn't mean they're being violent or they're outlaws or they're going to hurt you. Or people that don't, I don't know, that might appear to you to have some kind of problem that might seem like drug-induced or alcohol-induced, and really it's just part of their condition. Are police officers, are they trained in that?
I don't know if you'd want a police officer trained in that.
Well, what do you mean? Why not?
I don't know.
Well, at least to recognize it.
Well, I understand some basic training, but that's not what Aurora is saying. Aurora's saying we want to send out.
No, I know.
Yeah, well, it's just a whole different thing.
But as far as sending people out for this, I think it's a good idea. But how do you know decide?
How do you know?
That's what I was going to say. How do you know when to send who?
You get a call, 911. There's a crazy guy walking around my front yard. Well, who do you send?
Well, they should send a mental health professional with a police officer.
Now, apparently,
that's the way to do it.
Too bad.
What?
That's not too bad.
That's the only way you can do it.
Does Denver? Well, yeah, I think so. They would do that, wouldn't they? Now, does Denver do it already? Because it says here in what I'm reading here that the city of Aurora is launching a program similar to Denver. Is there a program in Denver that does this already? And it says in keeping people from being arrested. Now, I'm going to tell you something that happened. What's that?
I think Denver, with their program, they send a police officer and like a mental health social worker. Yeah. I think they send them
in Denver, do they do that on every call or just certain calls?
I think just certain calls involving like mental patients.
And you're speaking on the air, right? It's not just in my ear? Good. Okay. So, okay, so that's what they're doing in Aurora.
But in Denver, the interesting part is it's a 6-month experiment, so we're going to have a lot more data on it soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think the time has come where obviously we have to learn how to deal with all kinds of people in all kinds of situations. You can't just lock them up, shoot them dead, wrestle them to the ground. I mean, my God, there have been people who, okay, I'm convinced, honest to God, the thing with It was so tragic. I think that he was trying to say he was claustrophobic or he didn't want to be like felt like he couldn't breathe. And I don't think he was trying to be confrontational. If you watch the video, and then that one police officer just with his foot on his neck, the thing that bothered me most about that Floyd situation, most bothered me, really, is that the police now listen to what I'm saying, is that the police officer was not angry. He was nothing. He was like, it was chilling. He wasn't angry, like, I'll keep him down, I'm going to hold him till they get here. And he was like, not even consider. He didn't have any feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Indifferent.
That's right. And that was the most shocking thing. He was just like looking around, like chewing gum, like, hey, you know what? It's another day in the neighborhood. I swear to God, it was like there was nothing going on in his eyes. I think I would have felt better if the damn guy was angry. You know what I'm saying? It was like he wasn't even angry. He was just like waiting. Hold on, we got more coming up. Mark and I kept talking about that. We were saying, look at, he was like this.
You're right, totally.
It was, you know, like if he was angry, you could say the guy got caught up in anger, right?
Other cop is standing around with his hands in his pocket.
And this fucking guy said, I can't breathe. This guy wasn't going to hurt anybody. You know, if you want a real estate attorney, the one we use on this show, O'Brien Legal Services, Bradley O'Brien. Why would you need a real estate attorney? Well, first of all, when you're dealing with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in real estate, why not get someone to look at your documents? Someone to just say, hey, here's what you need to do. Or how about today, we just heard about those brothers inheriting that house, right? They should have had a partnership agreement to know when to sell and when not to sell. Brad O'Brien says whenever you're getting involved in real estate with someone, or whenever you're doing like a partnership like that, you should have an agreement of some kind. Or if you're holding the paper on a sale and you want to make the money on it, you want to hold the loan, you have to have it properly documented. OLSlaw.com. O'Brien Legal Services, OLSlaw.com, 720-370-7388. You know, everyone has websites. Everyone. If you're in business, you have a website, right? Now, if your website cannot be found, it doesn't mean much. Or if your website is slow in loading, if your website is cumbersome, if your website contains all kinds of disorganized information, it's not going to do you justice. So what about getting a free analysis of your website with GetFoundFast.com? It's a company we've used before and we can stand behind. GetFoundFast.com, a free analysis of your website and some do-it-yourself tips. GetFoundFast.com.
When we got new windows from DMD Window and Door, we knew they'd improve our home, but we didn't realize just how much. The windows look better than the windows they replaced. The
quality of the glass makes the view better. They insulate so much better. So I have lower AC bills in the summer and heating bills in the winter. And if that's not enough for you, remember that DMD Windows offers an unheard of 10-year installation warranty and...
You don't, I get all of Trump's tweets, his private ones now. Yeah, I get his emails. I'm glad I do. And I'm going to tell you something. This is the first time in history an ex-president has every single day he gets on, every single day, at least 10 times a day, he'll send out a message to his followers on what Biden's doing wrong or how the country's going to hell in a handbasket. No ex-presidents have ever done that before.
Well, we've never had a president like Trump before.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is it's kind of not cool. And I don't understand why he feels he has to fucking be
because he got fucked, man. What do you expect?
The election was stolen from him.
Really? Do you honestly believe that?
No, that was total sarcasm.
Okay, I'm good. I'm checking the temperature, Doc. I have to ask the question when it comes up.
I don't say why does he feel some fraud, but I don't think enough to make
in his mind. In his mind, that's why he's on there 10 times a day.
Yeah, but you know what?
No, that's bullshit, man. So you can define stealing. Does that mean extra people went out and voted and shit? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when the fucking media takes him off Twitter, takes his messaging 100% away, and then when he talks about Wuhan, they say it's fucking bullshit.
I know.
Now they all say it fucking happened.
I agree with you, Mark.
They totally fucked him up.
Absolutely. They were 100%
he'll be fucking back in 2 years, most likely.
You know what?
Whether he wins or not, who the fuck's going to know?
Because he's going to ruin the Republican Party.
Well, maybe so, but my point is he's going to be fucking running again. There's no doubt.
And here's the deal, man.
You know what I would love to see?
If he truly loved the country, he could help the Republican Party rather than tear it apart, because you're going to have two factions.
What I would love to see.
But there isn't two factions. There's like 85% and 15%. That's not two factions.
Mark,
wouldn't you love to see?
Really
but they vote all the time on that shit. The polls, who runs it? Almost every fucking Republican is Trump.
I think
who else would you put in there that would get any fucking more votes than Trump right now?
I'm not talking. Okay.
Well, that's all that fucking matters in an election. There's nothing else that matters.
Maybe that's part of the problem, because that's all that matters.
Well, what else would it be? It's votes. It's an election.
Yeah, I understand, but votes driven by what? Okay.
Yeah, by
what? By taking people off their fucking platforms?
No, but polarization. It's like,
I would love to see
I said
Trump
from the very beginning that he could have fucking just been. He could have been one of the best presidents instead of being so divisive. You don't have to be that divisive. And people say
we've never had a president that gets attacked 24 fucking 7.
That's true too.
He take questions.
That is true too.
This fucking guy now doesn't even answer a fucking question. No. Mark, he just killed 13 motherfuckers.
You're absolutely right when you said that Trump was under attack from day one. They wouldn't let up.
Constantly.
I know.
This fucking guy sniffs women's hair. You hear nothing about it. How many women came forward saying old Joe was a little out of line? They don't say a fucking word about it.
No, they don't.
But they get pissed off that he just made a locker room comment.
No, you're right.
Somebody said Joe was out of line.
Yeah, but come on now, too. You can't deny that the fucking media and big tech are all aligned for fucking Democrats.
You know, they blocked that woman.
Come on.
They blocked that woman on fucking Facebook and shit.
I know, that Gold Star woman, I know.
She loses her kids. She says Biden was an asshole and only talked about his own kids.
You know how
and they fucking blocked.
You know how many people...
Facebook and shit's run by the fucking government.
I know.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. So anyway, more on this program. The city of Aurora is gonna mirror what Denver's doing, and they're sending mental health professionals to respond to certain 911 calls along. It says here instead of police officers. I don't know if it's totally instead or along with, but listen, I think policing is changing, isn't it, because of what's going on in the world. I want to give you a personal experience that happened. This is God's honest truth, and it happened to me this weekend, and it happened in Studio City, California. I'm not going to give a street, but, I mean, this really happened. The cops knock on the door, and they said, we're asking you to leave the neighborhood for until the all clear. We can't make you leave because there wasn't an official evacuation order, but they say there's a guy holed up in the house down here threatening to blow up the house, okay? Now, here was a guy. I mean, I can't even believe this is true, but it's true because I witnessed it. He was in the house. He was a holdover. They were selling this house. It was in an expensive neighborhood, but the house was one of the older ones they're probably going to knock down and build a new one. That's what they do in this neighborhood. They knock down older houses, but because it's so pristine, the area, it's right in Studio City. So they said this guy, after they sold the house, he won't leave. And we don't know.
He was a renter?
We don't know. See, we didn't get complete details. We do know they had some renters in there. Yes. And then this guy was there, but he didn't seem – the tenants were out on the street talking to the police, so it doesn't seem like they were giving the police a hard time. But I think a squatter was there, and I think he was living in the backyard maybe or on the back porch. I know that sounds crazy, but – all we know is that he had to leave, and he refused to leave. And he was holed up there, would not leave. And he said, I have propane tanks, and I'm going to blow them up. I'm going to blow up this whole place if you don't leave me alone. Now, some people will say this is good. Some people say this is bad. They negotiated. They sent a negotiator in. And the end result was, and I mean this. I heard this from them. They said that the guy agreed to leave. They offered him $10,000 if he would leave, the owners, because they had the place sold. Now, I don't know if money changed hands or what caused this, but the police said, well, he agreed to leave on his own if we leave him alone. He's going to leave on his own tomorrow. And they left. No, but Mark, they left the scene. I mean.
So what, did he leave?
Well, hold on, but can you imagine after being cordoned off, and him threatening to blow up the house and the neighborhood, not the neighborhood, he was going to blow up himself in the house. When he said, okay, I won't, I'll leave tomorrow, they don't look to arrest him, like he's still a nut.
Yeah, but it sounds like they evaluated him. Yeah, it sounds crazy. I can't see it happening.
They left. So, and he was still there.
But what happened?
Okay, the next day, he decided he wasn't going to leave. Apparently, because the police were called again. But this time, there was no activity. And he was dead. He killed himself. But what I can't believe...
Now, wait a minute. So they probably should have taken him in the first place, honestly, and put him under suicide watch.
But for some reason, though, I just can't fathom being inside a house threatening to blow up the place, right?
And then
then the cops leave for the night because they say, never mind. Oh, never mind. I'm just going to leave tomorrow. Never mind. I'm sorry. Let's have a redo.
Try that in Cherry Creek or somewhere.
Well, I don't know what would happen. I mean, do you think police would leave here if you threatened to throw up a house?
I don't think they'd leave in Denver, Aurora, anywhere around here.
So he didn't blow up the house.
And look what happened. The guy ended up offing himself.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
And we're not sure how he did it, but, you know, if it was the gas that he smelled or did he shoot himself, I don't know, because nobody was giving details. But the police did say you don't have to worry about him, he's dead.
What was the mask situation like out there?
Everywhere. You wear masks.
So
everywhere.
it's like the old days.
Indoors, outdoors, everywhere. Yeah. And now, most people, I will say, were not wearing them out. Well, a lot of them were not wearing them outdoors.
But restaurants, you have to?
Oh, everywhere you go. Everywhere. Not just
mandatory.
Everywhere. Every store, every place. It's just like it was during the shutdown, except it's not shut down.
You think Gavin's going to make
Everything's open. You know, everything's open. And here's the thing,
What's the feeling out there about this governor of theirs? The one that eats at fancy French restaurants.
It's funny you should ask that, Mark, because you know why? Because I really felt like I was a reporter again because I was asking everybody about stuff like that.
I do, too, when I'm there.
Yeah. And they were saying, I saw the Uber drivers especially, I ask, and then I ask other people, I say, so tell me about your governor, you know, and they say, oh, he's going to be retained. Now I said, so what do you think? Well, the guy's doing here's some of the opinions. He's doing the best job he can under the circumstances. They're just trying to get rid of him, you know. They're just trying. Then other guys would say, oh, he's going to stay, big money, you know, no matter what, big money's behind him.
When I was in Ontario, not one person thought Gavin would make it. They all hated him.
Well, see, Mark, the people, I was in a more liberal area, I think, and they did not hate him. Now, I'm going to say something else that amazes me, and I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just telling you an observation. Homeless and people.
It's rampant.
Now, well, it's different than that. It's not even it's commonplace. It's literally commonplace. They are setting up. I mean, when I say homes, I mean, Stephanie laughed at me because I said that person's literally having company. I mean, they had friends over and they were fixing under the underpass
in San Francisco. I saw down by the docks, probably 3 miles, the tent city. Man.
Okay, now this is what I found astounding. There's a business, a place of business, and you know how businesses are set up on a corner and then there's common area city property, right? A swath of city land. It might only be 8 feet wide, for example, and there were solid people living there. You couldn't get into the business. You have to go around and try to make your way through that to get into this business. Now, you could drive in, because I thought it was a tire place I saw, and you can drive your car in and then go into the garage, but it's like they can't. And they can't say anything. They're not allowed to say anything because it's not against the law. Now, I'm not saying it should be. Again, I'm just saying the way it is. But if you don't have some kind of rules and regulations, there is literally crap all over. And I mean crap, feces and pee. And
needles.
I would think there's no one in the world, no one, Mark, that prefers that life unless you're mentally ill. I mean, you can't prefer it and be so-called normal. I feel sorry for some of these people. It's not like they're out there enjoying it, I think. I think they're mentally ill, and
or addicts.
They don't want to be. I think if you allowed them to come into a facility, if you had any rules whatsoever, they couldn't do it. They'd be out again. So I don't know what you do, but they're all gathering there. I swear to God, it's like the word got out, and
you know, our governor
every open space, every open space you see, it's taken, and they're just there living a regular life. I mean, they got things set up. They have candles. They have like sofas.
Yeah, it's like they're camping.
But even worse, I mean, because it's not even camping. It's just incredible to me. But so what do? You know, you can't obviously, if you keep getting rid of people, where do they go? But you can't arrest them. You can't. And if you keep shooing them, they're going to go somewhere else. I don't know what the answer is, because some of these people truly do not want conventional homes. They don't want them. They just don't want conventional homes, and they don't want a conventional life. So maybe you open up an area of public land and let people squat, maybe, if that's what they want.
Maybe.
I mean, you can't deny.
But then there's no one to beg from or get food from.
Yeah. Wow, it's an eye-opener. And, then there's one store owner said, if somebody comes in, they can help themselves to anything they want and leave without paying, and they can't do anything about it.
If it's less than $9.50.
Yes, But what do? Run around with a calculator? Nothing in the store would be more than $1,000.
I read something on YouTube that they are actually doing that they are going in with a calculator to keep it less than $950.
I didn't hear that. All the guy said was they are told by management they cannot touch anyone who comes. If they come in to shoplift and they're peaceful, obviously you protect yourself, but they can take anything they want and leave. Mark, how long does it take for word to get out? They can come in. Yes, they can go into the store and take anything they want.
But even right here in Colorado, large retailers like Target and Walmart, if you don't stop if they ask you, they will not pursue you for shoplifting, period, at the store.
What I'm talking about, you walk in with a shopping bag.
With the intent to fill it up and leave. I get it.
Literally, you walk through the store, and they know you have no intent of paying, and they watch you fill up your bag.
My point is, if they did that here, it would be the same outcome. Unless if the police showed up and grabbed the person.
Well, I don't know what would happen. I mean, all I know is that lawlessness is gradually taking over, and you can't say or do anything about it.
The employees are told not to interfere.
No, they can't interfere, right?
No, absolutely can't. They don't want a lawsuit.
But the police won't arrest them either.
I don't disagree with you, Tom. I think it's a big problem.
And you know, I'm not saying it's the police's fault. I mean, police don't feel appreciated. That's for damn sure.
I'll be curious how the moratorium, now that it's over on evictions, what were you going to see in the next 3 or 4 weeks?
Ants is so angry, we got to take a break.
No, Mark, the guy said basically people they simply go in.
I've seen that, some of those videos, but it's crazy.
And they do use calculators.
But it's the same here. You can't, they're not going to, if you just walk out there, Walmart's not going to stop you.
So you're saying right now I could go in and take stuff and just leave?
They would not touch you. They would call the police and try to get the cops up there. They'll get pictures of you maybe, your license plate number if you're in a car, but they will not apprehend or stop you. End of story.
But they'll go after you or me, anybody.
Most people will stop though. Most people will stop. Just like when a cop asks you something, most people are going to answer. You know, you don't have to do that, you know.
Well, I know. You don't have to stop an ID.
Yeah, but depending on who you are, it begs for a body slam.
Oh, they'll come to my house and me.
Depending on who, it begs for a body slam.
Your credit card at the end of your first year. It's amazing because Discover is accepted at 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen report, limitations apply.
Mile High Estate Planning is now BlakeHarrisLaw.com. Blake Harris is the expert we use for estate planning. So if you want to know about simple wills, trusts, avoiding probate, or if you're facing probate, medical directives, maybe living wills as they call them, protecting your assets while you're alive and after you pass, long after you pass, you can have a trust remain to help your heirs. It's all about planning. And Blake Harris Law does a great job at helping you plan. In fact, he set up a number where you can call and get your questions answered. He doesn't charge you for talking. He charges flat rates for what he actually does for you. BlakeHarrisLaw.com. 833-ASK-BLAKE. 833-ASK-BLAKE. Reverse loans are the kinds of loans you get when you're 62 or older, you have equity in your home, and you don't have to pay it back. It accrues against the property, but you'll never owe more than the property itself. Now, most of the time, people don't end up doing that. They sell, and you can keep what's left over. So can your estate. ApprovalReverse.com. Joan Sullivan is one of our experts for reverse loans. Approval Reverse. Call them if you have any questions. 303-771-3528. 303-771-3528.
Are you curious when you should?
This is Kurt Cambier. For your free Social Security analysis at KurtCambier.com. That's Kurt with a K, CAMBIER.com. Kurt with a K, Cambier.
Yeah, Ontario. I don't care if it was a taxi driver, 2 or 3 Uber drivers, waitresses, waiters at different restaurants, hotel staff, no one like what was going on, tax-wise especially, but they blamed Newsom on virtually everything.
Well, that's the way it goes, man. Folks just blame.
But it's funny though,
whoever the obvious target is.
I didn't realize Ontario was different than LA, which is literally right the fuck next door.
Oh no, it's not literally right the fucking next door. It's on the other side of that little rugged hill.
Well, it's still 20 minutes.
No, the Inland Empire is the Inland Empire, and the LA Basin is the LA Basin. They are two completely different zoos.
Okay.
And they are both zoos.
Even though they're there.
Yeah, it's all in the LA County, so to speak. But when you're in the basin, you're in the basin. You're like LA, Santa Monica, up toward Malibu, down toward Redondo, and down toward Irvine and the South Beaches and stuff like that. That's all on the basin side. There's a little ridge of mountains. There's two ridges. One goes North Hollywood, which is another neighborhood, and then the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, and all of those places. They're literally different zones with different, you could almost call them different classes of people living in it. I mean, the city, LA Basin, has a whole lot of everything, money and poverty. And as you start moving toward the Inland Empire, there's just areas.
So, Talib, is it like Denver, where you have Lakewood and Aurora and all these little?
No, because they're all similar.
See, the difference is.
Are you from out there?
I'm born and raised in LA.
I didn't know that. So you know all of that area.
Man, I talk to LA folks every day.
Yeah, so what you're saying, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand it.
Okay. Like you live here, you can get in your car and just drive through these different neighborhoods, and unless you're paying attention, and if you're not paying attention, you'll be in a different neighborhood or a different zone and not know it. But to get from LA Basin to San Bernardino, you have to get on the 10 freeway and drive over there.
It'd be like going to Colorado Springs, Ed.
Kind of like going to Springs, but not as far. Okay. To go to North Hollywood, you have to get on the Hollywood Freeway. Okay. Or one of them damn freeways. I forget. I ain't been there in so long. But you have to go over the little hill, and now you're in a completely different neighborhood, completely different groups of people, big time. I mean, Doc, seriously, David. Okay. If you go up north, if you go West LA, Brentwood, and then up north, you're running into all the money.
He said something to all three of us.
You're running into all the money. I just said it. Okay, when you come back into the basin and
So is that any different than going from Denver to Cherry Hills Village?
Heck yeah.
How?
You can go from Denver to Cherry Hills Village.
Right.
Just go there.
Right.
Okay, and the transition is a blended transition. Okay, when you go over that hill, you're in two different places.
Okay. I'm looking up to get them twice.
It's
one
a lot
from
further,
Tim
but like
and then
to,
one from Mark.
What the hell's that place on the other side of the
that's
the western slope?
I didn't want to bother.
What's that town right before you hit
Grand Junction?
Yeah, like Grand Junction is
I
way
didn't want
the
to
fuck
bother
different
to
than
get it
anyway.
I get them. And I reach out.
Pueblo's way different.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK.
713-8255. Let's say this is a very eye-opening show sometimes. Mike, what's going on with you? What's your comment on Los Angeles?
Yeah, Tom, I want to talk about homeless in Los Angeles, but first I want to say this is Mystery Mike, also known as Sue's lover, and
Mystery Mike, wow, and also known as Sue's lover, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Mark, you're going to get your divorce papers.
Okay. That's what you're dreaming, but okay, go ahead.
No, she and I are going to jet off to.
Okay.
Good.
In his Pinto.
So what's happening, man? What do you think about the LA situation?
Well, the money we're spending on homeless, why don't we just build houses and give them to them?
Too much like right.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, they wouldn't be able to maintain them. I mean, what are you going to do?
Oh.
I don't know if that's not what I don't know if that's not what Talib's saying. I'm just saying, what would you do when something breaks? Who's going to pay for their water, the electricity? But the guy's point's not too bad.
It's what? What is the point?
It cost a fortune not only to imprison people, but different homeless people.
Oh, yeah. You know, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, politicians have tried and tried and tried. What do you do? What do you do? I mean, I don't know what the answer is. We'd all like to bitch about it, but what do you really do about it? You can't throw people away. I mean, what do you do? Any ideas? What would you do, Mike? You'd say homes, tiny homes?
Yeah, and make them responsible for the upkeep, and at some point, throw them out.
Do you know some people don't want to be in tiny? They don't want to be enclosed. I mean, some people prefer that. When I say some people, I don't mean that's a normal thing. That's what I said. No one in their normal mind prefers it. There's something missing. There's something wrong. I mean, let's face it. It's just not a normal habitat to be out in the open like that.
I don't know the population of Singapore, but they have like 900 homeless in the whole country. And they say one of the reasons is you get a fine for $3,000 and 2 years imprisonment, not for being homeless, but for begging.
Yeah, I know, but isn't that where they cane people, though, and beat people?
Yeah, there was some kid, like a 20-year-old kid. He threw his bubble gum on the ground, and they caned him.
No, there is always a harsh solution to every problem we have. Oh, make no mistake. I mean, we could solve every problem and be a terrible place to live. I mean, yeah, if you wanted to cane people who are homeless, guess what? I bet you they wouldn't show up there anymore. But you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Some of these harsh countries, when they say, well, there's no shoplifting because they cut off your hands, well, we're not going to do that.
No.
But there's got to be something between cutting off your hand and letting them ride through on a bicycle
or a skateboard
and fill up their bags. I mean, there's got to be some consequences to negative actions. What happens when people start catching on that you can just, if you're hungry, why are you begging? Just walk in the store and grab food. Because, Mark, that's what they're doing. I mean, they really are. The smart people have caught on. Wait a minute. I don't have to buy anything. I will not be arrested. In L.A., in California, you will not be arrested.
Hey, did you see in Texas they finally got that pushed through? The Democrats showed back up, and they got their new voting law pushed through. Remember, they absconded to California.
But what is the voting law?
I haven't even read it. I liked it when the Democrats all left the state for a while.
No, I understand. Here's what I don't understand either.
Well, they got 2 months. They got 2 months paid by Nancy and the gang of vacation.
I don't know who to believe because, unfortunately, we no longer have a news media. So I don't know who to believe because you listen to the conservative media and you hear complete exaggeration about the other side. You listen to the liberal media and you hear complete exaggeration about the other. And I mean this, I would like to know real news. Like, for example, when they don't just put up something saying changes in voting laws, they say Texas voted to take voting rights away. And then Fox will say Texas or whoever, they vote to preserve voting rights or to correct or to preserve integrity. And neither of them is probably right because we're not being told what, like there are some laws that require an identification to vote. Now, there are a million places you have to show ID. Here's what I don't understand. How does that become racist? I don't understand it. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, remember. I'm saying I don't understand it. Help me understand it. Help me understand how an identification...
Well, you should have to have a valid ID to vote, or else you could vote 20 times in 20 places.
There are those who say that is racist.
Well,
there are others who say, well, of course you should. I want to know why they're saying it. That's what I want to know. But you can't get them to explain it because Fox won't accurately explain the other side. and CNN won't accurately explain the other side, or CBS or NBC.
When Georgia passed their voting law, I remember everybody saying that Delaware, where Biden was from, was actually harder to vote in some circumstances.
I don't know. I would just like to ask questions sometimes and get answers. Like, why do you say this and why do you say that? From both sides. I'd like information.
I would bet.
What's that?
I say I would bet that it has to do with how it is enforced or not.
What do you mean, the identification part?
The identification, any of it, how any of it is enforced or not, where any of it is enforced or not. You got to have a valid ID to vote. Okay?
Right.
Well, who the hell are you going to ask for that?
So
valid
you're
ID?
saying if they use it as an exclusionary tool?
This is, and that is pretty much what most of it is all about.
It could be. That could be why some people think it's racist. More coming up.
I still miss it. I don't understand what you're
saying. So
saying.
it's racist if the TSA asks you for identification before you get on the
hold
plane.
on. I totally missed. What did he say? What were you saying?
Okay. Hypothetically, somebody says you have to have
an ID
this particular card in order to do that particular thing. Okay. Now that thing is done all over the place.
Yeah.
But let's talk about voting.
Okay, but
anytime I have ever voted, I show my fucking license.
But Tilly, let's talk about voting.
Everybody does, though. Every single person in line with me shows their license.
Exactly.
Anytime I've ever voted.
Okay, so then what's the issue then?
I don't know. But ask CNN, because they say when Georgia voted to have people show ID to vote,
they said that was racist.
Well, Biden said.
Well, actually, what Georgia was complaining mostly about was the idea that you couldn't hand somebody a bottle of water, that you could not enable people to stand in that
Genesis
line.
Solar.com.
You couldn't do.
One sec.
Genesis is a place to go for your home improvements, of course. We've been touting Genesis for a long time. GenesisTotalExteriors.com. Now, Mark Szymanski also has GenesisSolarCO.com. And he'll guarantee, well, the company guarantees, the manufacturer guarantees all of their components for 25 years. Think about that. 25 years, and performance will be guaranteed 25 years. So if they say you're going to save so much money and you don't, you get paid yearly for that, or not if they meet the mark. 303-474-4317. 303-474-4317. Now, one more time, affordable interest mortgage and the liquid loan is unlike anything you've ever heard of. So call Kurt and say, hey, Tom Martino told me to check out this loan. It's a loan for everyone. First of all, it's a liquid loan. What that means is you can owe as much or as little as you want within your parameters, okay? It's a 30-year line of credit. You can choose how much to pay down on your house, how much to borrow, and back and forth. In fact, when you just put money in the bank to hold it there to pay bills, even that money counts against your average daily balance, which means it shows like your mortgage is that much less. Affordable interest mortgage. The website is aimortgage.net and the number 720-895-0500. 720-895-0500.
So many people have told me
they couldn't handle water or anything else with a political identification on it. You could give them a bottle of water,
I am having terrible.
But you couldn't say, vote for this person or vote Democratic. They only said as long as there was no political affiliation, there was no problem with handing them out anything. You check that out.
I know. I'll actually believe you, Doc, but that is not what was being put out.
Wait, why did you bring it up just now?
Because
you were wrong. You tried.
No, he was saying that was his understanding.
I don't know what we're talking about. No, he's saying that the Georgia voting law didn't allow them to give out water. That's not true.
No. He was saying that was a perception, though. I understand exactly what he was saying.
No,
I have no idea what the law says either. But I've heard that argument.
But Tully was trying to bias the conversation by saying they couldn't give out water.
No, what does the law say?
You can't give out anything.
I'm telling you what people were complaining about.
If you're at the registration booth, you can't give a bottle of water It says vote for Tom Jones.
That
You
makes
can
sense.
give them a bottle of water. You can give them anything as long as
You
have
can't
political.
campaign there.
Exactly.
I thought
That makes
like
perfectly
within 100
sense. I
yards.
would not argue against
Then why
that.
did you bring it up?
No,
because
that's
the
not what I
perception.
understood. Okay.
See, what we're saying is,
Words
there's
in
no
my mouth,
place.
sister.
There's
You
no
just
place.
said that they couldn't give out water.
That was my understanding.
Well,
Was
you were
that
wrong.
Okay.
But that's
So
the
then
point.
why
But
bring it
that's-
up if you don't know the
Well,
facts?
here's the point, though. We're bringing up what
Why
we
you
hear on the
bring it up
fucking
when
news.
you don't know the facts? Gee whiz.
We bring it up. No. What we mean is, when we hear something, we're supposed to hear the fucking facts. But I'll bet you, I guarantee you, that's the way it was portrayed on the news.
It sure was.
And I'm being told that there's, I can't give examples now, damn it, but I'm going to keep track. You can hear fucking two stories that are completely opposite, and you think, what the fuck is true?
But Talib is smart enough to know what the truth is. We're not talking about some ignorant person. This is a guy.
I'm smart enough to research the truth when someone hands me a piece of information like the information that you just gave.
I think this guy
I
gave
will
us
go
original.
check it out.
Okay.
This guy
I
gave
will
us
go
his
check it
original.
out.
All I'm saying is that you're not some
Jesus, I
ignorant
think
person
this
who
is
pulled
his
off the
original.
street. You're an intelligent, articulate person just like the rest of us. And you should, before you make statements, at least
But every last one of us in here, on occasion,
Solid
make
point,
statements.
Tommy.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
So-
we all do. We all make statements that we
but-
have to either
but what
retract
did
or,
you do?
or
Actually,
confirm.
that is one of every article I'm reading is basically that. It says, a Georgia law has not legalized giving people bottled water. It pertains to political organizations.
But that's now.
The way it was packaged when you
I
watch
know, I
CNN
know.
or even Fox, it was packaged, here's no more water or food.
Hey, can someone tell me, though, why it's being demonized by liberals, whatever laws they have there? Seriously. Somehow Georgia, in fact, what did they do? They took something away, the All-Star game, because of the voting laws. What did they do to the voting laws? I don't know. I'm serious.
I don't either.
Well, that was good for us in Colorado.
I know, but what did they do? Tilly, do you know what they did? Why they're calling those voting laws terrible? Why did they move the baseball game?
I don't have the details. I don't have those kind of details.
See,
and half the time, I'm not going to go look for them
It's the
because
perception.
most of the time, it's all ridiculous. If you come at me with a red and blue conversation or a dim or DNR conversation, I shut them down. I don't listen.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Okay, what the heck is going on in your life? We don't have a lot of time, but if you had a phone call right now, we could probably sneak it through. I'm gonna give you some information that you're gonna probably feel, duh. They did a stress test on age. Now, this is kind of silly. Would you automatically assume that the younger you are, the less stress, or the older you are, the less stress?
Younger.
Yes, younger is way more stressed than I thought. I thought it would be older, but it's not. As you get older, the stress level goes down, according to this survey. And we can cover more of this anyway.
If you're a teenager, you don't know what your life's going to be like in 10 years.
Anyway, remember, referralist.com, save